Good morning, traders. Welcome back. Of course, you guys know it's a fast market sometimes when we get the economic data to come in. So let's talk all about this economic data, the SPY right now. Let's take a look. First action to the downside. Actually, the first action I would say is to upside. It was about a wick. Now we're getting the downside action to come in here. And this is when I think we can start to take bets. And I'm thinking that we do get some downside action on this retail number, but let's talk a little bit about it and see what numbers we got here, right? So we want to go ahead and take a look. I'm going to bring you guys over to Benzinga Pro. Of course, you guys can be using Benzinga Pro as part of one of the programs that you guys can use. Take a look here, guys. Benzinga Pro here letting us know that the retail sales are in. And we got, of course, retail sales coming in here at a 0.1 versus a negative 0.2 expectation, the prior being 1%. So at least above the zero, it wasn't a negative. Core came in at +1 versus a 0.2 estimate. Retail controls month over month for August at 0.3 versus a 0.3 estimate. Retail sales year over year at 2.1 versus a 2.66%. Honestly, it wasn't as bad as I expected it. I thought it was going to be worse. So that's what's holding me off on betting to the downside just right now, right? So I'm taking a look at this to see if maybe I take some bets. I was watching Victoria's Secret. Of course, you guys know that I put a nice short on that. Just recently made a good gain on that. So going to take a look to see what happens today to XRT. I think that's what you got to keep a watch on, right? To see what happens with some of those names. Will we get some downside action to come in on some of that action? Of course, you guys could be taking a look at that. But yeah, we can definitely kind of watch to see what's going on right now. The first action still to the upside. We'll take a look to see what happens here. Will we get some continued upside momentum into, of course, the FOMC decision tomorrow? That's going to be what is on everyone's radar. Like always, guys, smash the like. We'll talk a little bit about it. Let's go to the sunrise report. Then we'll take a look at the sun. Of course, we'll get to the playbook. We'll go to the sunrise report, and then we'll take a look a little bit more at the SPY action right now. Still fading is a couple of these penny stocks right now. Penny stocks just seem like they can't hold. No positions on for me right now, only in the swing trade on Boeing, still short. We'll talk a little bit about that. Let's get to the action. There's still a lot more to take a look at today. So let's take a look at today's playbook. Right, first up, we're going to take a look at PACCAR, and this is all looking at what is it's looking into more of an outlook into the interest rate environment. Of course, PACCAR has been near a bottoming event for kind of 2 times now, 3 times, right? You can see 1, 2, 3 times a touch into that 92.50s. Actually went all the way down to 91.48. So that's kind of near your support. That 91.40s, 91.50s is really that support that you can see kind of hold here. The bodies are closer towards the 92.50s. And now I'm really looking to see if we can go back to this trend line. This is a trend line that I've been looking at since, of course, the 12th, looking to see if we're going to come back towards that level on the 108. The 108, 105. I think this will also depend on what happens in Deere, the leader, right? If Deere can make a nice long trend line move, get that weekly back through the 400 towards the 420s, I'd be looking at CAT making that move also, and PACCAR playing a little bit of a catch up after recent down gaps. So take a look at this. Of course, back through 100. This is going to be looking interesting. We'll see what happens in PACCAR. Let's go to the second one on the playbook today. We'll talk a little bit about XLF. And as I continue to look to see what happens in an interest rate environment when we start to come in a rate cutting area. Well, of course, you're going to have what? You're going to have interest income come down. And I think that you'll start to see these banks make less earnings, and less earnings, of course, mean what? The banks coming right back down. Of course, these have been continuing to climb for a while now. I'm just going to start to expect to see some trouble here. So we'll see what happens if these start to get back down through the 44s. Of course, you guys know I'll be looking at different banks, but keeping an eye on the action there in the bank situation. So let's keep it going. That's XLF. Let's go to the third one here. We'll take a look at the Vixie, as I'll be watching to see what happens with the Vixie today. 12, a battle at 12 is what's been going on in the last couple of days. And I was able to make a good gain yesterday. Not as much as I wanted to, of course. I was looking for a nice like $900 gain. Only took the 300. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes, guys. Vixie, not doing too bad right now, kind of sideways. I'm telling you guys, that $12 today is going to be very vital. Undercutting that 12, I think we could go back to 1150, back up above the 1230s, and we could start to push towards 13 and maybe even a run towards 1350s and 14s. So the Vixie has been a really good trading vehicle for me. So I'm going to continue to watch this to see if I can come and find some edge on this. Of course, I've been trading it big too, right? Yesterday, 3,000 shares. Well, keep coming after it today. Let's see what happens. All right, guys, that's going to do it for our playbook action. We can take a look at different stocks, of course, that you want to take a look at. So if you guys got something on your playbook, don't forget, throw it up in the chat. Hit the comments if you're watching this on Twitter, of course. And we'll keep taking a look at what else is out there. Let's get to the Sunrise Report and see what's going on in the market right now. I'm seeing the SPY. SPY's still holding up for right now. Let's take a look at what's going on today's Sunrise Report. All right, traders. First up, of course, we're talking all about retail today as we keep taking a look at the Fed watch, right? The FOMC meeting now starting. So keep your eyes on the action. And of course, what's the focus? The focus is all about interest rates, right? Will they get a 25 basis point hike, cut, or will we get a 50 basis point cut? And as we keep going, I think the important part here is, and I'll give a shout out to the Einstein of Wall Street. My man was giving a conversation just yesterday on this topic, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about it today with Beginner Trade. As Beginner Trading comes on, John will be joining me just later today around 10 a.m., guys. So stick around for that. We'll get another trader on, and we're looking to get more traders on this show. So if you want to come on, reach out to us. We'll bring you right on. Trade the pool, guys. All right. So one thing, of course, that's being talked about is where does the focus go? Is it a 25 basis points? And then the market goes up 50. Oh, it comes down. No, what I think is important here is what was mentioned by Wall Street, all right, Einstein of Wall Street. And it was what? Is that we're going into a rate cutting cycle, right? And this is a big change. We were in that kind of big push towards rates up. Now we're in that rate down. And this is just the one cut in a view that multiple cuts are on the way. And so this could actually be positive for the market, right? And I think that that's one thing that we need to be thinking about, right? So at the time being, I think that we're going to first see the reaction on the first cut as a negative, right? But then we could start to climb. It's just going to be choppy towards the end of the year. I don't expect to see like a major downfall unless we really start to see those jobless numbers just take a huge spike, right? If unemployment just jumps, like a full percent, yeah, we need to be concerned. But at the point in time, I think we're just going to be in choppy markets, coming down on a correction, working our way back up, and essentially probably staying really close to where we are in the levels right now towards the end of the year. And so what does that mean for investors out there? Well, it might not be the best investment environment, but definitely going to be a trading environment, and one that maybe the momentum traders are not going to be able to actually gain on, and trend traders are not going to be able to gain on, right? Because these are going to be quick moves, right? So maybe you're just trading the quick move here and looking into trying to take that quick alpha that you get presented. Some days we're going to go straight down. Some days we're going to go straight back up. So just be careful out there, guys. It's going to be conflicting noise. Let's get to the second one here as we talk a little bit about Microsoft. And we'll take a look at this as Microsoft announcing today that the shares are jumping and a quarterly dividend increase, big increase here, not too bad, by 10.7% to 83 cents per share. So if you got some Microsoft shares, hey, get that dividend money ready. Microsoft also announced $60 billion in a buyback program, further bolstering, of course, the investors' confidence that's out there. Microsoft has already been starting to climb back, so keep your eyes on the action today. I think that Microsoft was setting up for the move, and now we need to keep an eye on it, right? I'm looking at it right now, and I can see it up there towards 440s in the pre-market, when just yesterday you were trading at 430s. And I talked about how this stock wanted to be the strong one here and had like a 3-4 days green trend. Now you're in what? 9 days of green on Microsoft. So if you're coming at it today, I think you're doing it wrong, right? You're a little bit late to the party. So just be careful for downside to come into Microsoft after this. But yes, this did help continue to push the momentum in Microsoft this morning. Let's get to the third one here as we talk a little bit about Intel, and they want to do a little bit of an adjustment to their strategy, right? So the shares are jumping this morning as the company revealed plans to turn its foundry business into a subsidy business and won up to $3 billion in funding from the CHIPS Act to produce military-grade semiconductors. The company, of course, expanded partnership with Amazon Web Service also signals further growth in its foundry business, reflecting its strong strategic position in the semiconductor space as they try to battle back, right? They did lose out on PlayStation 6. AMD going to go ahead and be in those PlayStation 6. So I didn't expect them to get into the PlayStation. They already kind of messed it up on the PlayStation 5. But these conversations of the foundry business is something to definitely pay attention to. Can Intel get a lift off of this? Maybe a monetary lift, maybe just a short-term lift there. I did see Intel this morning. It was on a little bit of a setup. We'll see if it can continue to go. Take a look at the 15 minutes and the hourly. You're trying to bottom out around the 22s. We'll see if we're able to get another lift there in Intel today. It's nothing that I expect to have the biggest move off of this mention, but something to keep your eyes open for. That's going to do it for our Sunrise Report. Like always, guys, you guys want to catch the news every single day? Well, join us on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, on Facebook. Trade the Pool is where you want to be. Time to kick things off into the live trading side. Yes, I said it. Live trading. That's what this show is really about, right? We kick it to the live trading. I'm ready to go ahead and get after it, guys. Yesterday, bouncing back was what? Red, decently red, right? Close to 300 down. Bounce back in one trade, right back to break even. And that's what it's all about, traders. Keep yourself in the battle, right? Some days are going to be survivor. Some days we're going to be in that thriving stage. The one thing that we can't be is in that just wrecking account stage, right? Just losing consecutively and then just keep blowing through what your profits, right? Because that's what we're here for. Let's get after it. It's Trade the Pool. And I'll tell you one thing, guys, stick around. There's going to be some big news coming in the next couple of days. Shh, Money Bitch can't tell you, but he can tell you there's some big news ahead. Wants 200, baby. You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money.
It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at. What's going on, traders? How we doing out there? Are we taking a look at retail data and are we seeing a strong consumer? Well, at least that's what the retail sales are telling us, but it really wasn't a strong report. It was just better than expected. So the downside seeming like it's not as present as what it was just yesterday. Yesterday, we were starting to crack a little bit here. Let's take a look at the action. There's Intel going for that move at 22 as you start to pull back there. Let's take a look at the SPY to see what's going on. We have been climbing this morning, so I'm wondering if we start to see a downturn right towards the bell or maybe 9 a.m. XRT, of course, retail names, right? How are those names popping off of this? I think that's what we need to be kind of paying attention to see what happens there. But we can take a look to see what stocks are doing well. AEO doing well this morning. Five Below doing well and continuing to the upside. ANF, which just got hit hard yesterday, guys, was up there towards 144, fell off the tape yesterday and really came back down to 133, down about close to 7%. So going to continue to watch these, right? You guys know I made a monstrous trade on Macy's, and it's right back towards 15s. It didn't get towards my entry, but I'm still taking a look at these. And I think we need to keep a close eye to see what happens with these, right? Because at some point, the recession concern will be coming back. That's one thing. It almost feels like a guarantee for me, right? And I know that there's a lot of people battling. Will we get recession? No, the market's just going to stay strong no matter what. Well, the truth is, at some point, the consumers are going to feel the pressures of inflation. And they've been saying that inflation's been going down in new cars and things like that, right? Tesla. But the truth is, the inflation hasn't gone down, man. Just go to the car dealerships, guys. And the truth is, lending speaks, guys. Lending speaks for itself. And if investors, or let's say consumers overall, are exposing themselves to what? To $60,000-$70,000 vehicles, when these vehicles used to cost $20,000 and $30,000, the same one. Is that a good thing or a negative in the long run? Will they come crashing down, right? Will it break the consumers at some point? Because the truth is, yes, we can make more money. But if we keep spending more, are we in a better position or in a worse position? Those are things that you need to be asking yourself, right? And of course, these are long-term conversations, right? Because the truth is that the weakness in the consumer area will play out over time. And multiple companies have been warning that there is a slowdown in consumer spending. Now the question is, will it show up in the next earnings? The EPS is something that I saw continuously get beat this earnings season. And why are the EPS getting beats? Because they're just earnings more per share, right? They're battling on that side, right? Cutting costs and making more money. Now, where I saw a lot of companies miss is in their revenue, because the actual the bottom line, right, where you're getting that money, right, is just not going as high, but you're getting more for each share, right? And a lot of this also has to do with the buyback programs that are out there. I think the buyback programs have definitely assisted in this, but we need to continue to watch to see what goes on in the consumer space, right? What goes on in the leisure space, right? That's another thing to kind of pay attention to, like RCL. You guys can see it pushing right now, and it's been pushing the last couple of days. So continue to watch leisure to see what happens there. Maybe you start to see a little bit of an up move here, right? And I think that's one thing that we need to be watching for. Airlines. What will airlines do here? Will they start to make an up move, or will they come crashing right back down? I wonder how you guys feel about the holiday season. Do you guys feel that this is going to be a slowdown holiday season? Or maybe just continuing to ramp up and spending. Because it seems like that's what we do, guys. We just spend. We'll see what else is out there. Izzy, how we doing? Let's take a look out there, guys. The September fall. We'll see, guys. We're definitely going into the toughest 2 weeks of the year, as we definitely battle in September. But it's been a positive reaction, right? Jane, how we doing out there? Vic. Trader Life, let's get it. Let's go, man. Sound that alarm. The S&P will hit 5,700 because of the cut, then drop back down to the 5,600. Okay, we'll be taking a look at it. We'll see what happens today, guys. Right now, overall, the SPY, it seems like it's continuing to keep going higher. Let's take a look at the 1 minute. It seems like you're in a battle right now. We'll see if we finally get some drop in the next couple of minutes. I'll be watching this, guys, because you are setting up for the move towards the upside above this 565.10s. But if for any reason we cut back down towards this 564.68, that's kind of the downside action right now. And when the SPY loves to do this, guys, it climbed what? It climbed all after hours in the pre-market. And then once it gets to the open, it could pretty much not go anywhere. And that's going to be the hard part if that's what happens here, right? So I'll be watching that action. We'll take a look at some of the smaller names. We'll take a look at some of the stocks that are moving out there. Let me know what's on your radar today, team. I'll be looking around to see if there's any stocks that catch my attention. And let's see, maybe we take a trade in the pre-market. Right now, no trades on, battling back and ready to get after it today, guys. Had just pretty much a neutral day yesterday. Ready to go ahead and get back into the green. Let's see what we can come up with today. You guys know where you're at. It's trade the pool. Let's go, guys. SPY now trying to make that move towards the upside. We'll see if we get that continued move. I did see NVIDIA climbing this morning. Let's see where it's at now. It's at 118.30s. And when I came in this morning, I was in here even before 6 a.m. So, hey, wasn't a bad look to maybe take a long in Nvidia this morning. I was watching AMD and thinking the same thing around 153, and they got towards 154 now. 154.40 is on the offer, so it wasn't a bad idea. And it was all more based on that Microsoft news, right? That Microsoft news really kind of lifted the market. And of course, when the market starts to lift, they're looking for ways to kind of come after it. I think they went after some Nvidia there, and now got to come watching to see what happens in Apple, as that was a kind of a wreck story yesterday, right? Got a hard downside hit. We'll see if Apple comes back down through the 215 today, or does it start to play recovery back through the 217, going to the 220s. That's something to keep an eye out for. And of course, Nvidia's is going to be a big watch. It's always a watch every single day. And it's just back and forth, pretty much not going anywhere in the last couple of months. So if you've been in trading Nvidia, you've probably been, making and losing money. But if you've been investing in Nvidia around these levels, you've pretty much gone nowhere. So all things to kind of keep in mind, and all things that are fair to think about. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at what else is out there. The CEO was on Trader TV Live. Of course, yeah, Michael was on there. And look forward to seeing me on there eventually. I'll be joining the Trader TV Live team soon enough. Got to do a nice trade on there. We'll be setting up to see what I get after on there. But hey, yes, smash the like, guys. We're keep on growing, and tell everybody, tell them all that we were on Trader TV Live. If anything, take a screenshot, tag us. We'll enjoy it, guys. It's always good to see you guys out there. S&P over the next couple of weeks, of course. Yeah, something definitely to think about. Michael was on it, and definitely take a look at it. What's Trader TV? Jane, it's another channel on YouTube. It's a YouTube channel that does some day trading. They do good. They do good. The only thing I would say is maybe not as good as Money Mitch, but we won't get into that conversation. But yeah, I love the guys out there on Trader TV. I've actually met them. They're pretty cool guys, man. And so if you want to check them out, Jane, you can definitely check them out on YouTube, and you can check out Michael on there. But we won't get into that conversation future day trade. We'll let them get away with it, right? Like always, Trader Life, we'll be getting after it, man. That's what it's all about. But yeah, it's always good to learn from new traders and other traders. We'll be actually bringing on another channel today, Beginner Trading, right? And I think it's very important to learn from other traders, learn from the way that they go about it. Another major thing that I will tell you guys is try to find traders that have similar personalities. And you can actually learn from that, right? You can adjust and kind of think about it, right? Do they have a, fast trading style, and that's what you like? Or is it more of a market approach, right? Edge approach, looking for industries and sectors, things like that, where you feel that there's some knowledge there, right? All these things you got to be thinking about when you're looking at traders. There's crazy traders every single day, right? There's traders like, I don't know, you can maybe just turn on your YouTube and find them. But let's say like a Ross Cameron, right? Trying to swing $20,000 in one day. Well, the truth is you can be going after those traders and kind of look at their style. But the truth is you're not going to be able to trade like them. And I'll just be as honest as I can be, man. And the truth is there's very limited traders that can make that type of money daily. Yes, I'm going to be as honest as I can be daily, right? Now, you can make good gains, and I don't think that that's the wrong thing. I mean, I wouldn't be trading if I didn't think you could make good money. But there's a whole other thing that is if we're going to be making, $30,000, $40,000 in one day. The truth is, let's focus on just trying to be consistent here, trying to be professional traders that really just continuously make money, right? There's a lot of trading days in a year, so I don't need to be making $20,000 in one day. That's the truth. Let's get after it, guys. Let's go start to make some money. Let's see what we can find here. What do we got out on the market? And don't worry about it, guys. There's one thing that's for certain. I'll never be like, you can't watch anybody else, because the truth is that we can all learn from each other. Let's not be hard-headed. Let's focus on improving. And that's what matters. That's what I'm always going to be focused on. So even if I'm making mistakes and you guys want to call me out and be like, hey, Mitch, you're doing this a little bit, maybe not wrong, but maybe not in the best way. And feel free, because that's what it's all about, guys. We got to help each other grow and help each other improve. If not, we're wasting our time here. And I'm not here to waste your time or mine. let's keep going, guys. Let's take a look at the market, see what's going on out there right now. The SPY continuing to climb up towards 565s and now 565.30s, trying to get through the pre-market high. We've had a couple spikes into this area, so let's see if we get through that area and keep going to the next level. Wheeler showing up in the penny stocks, man. When will this stock come down, or when will it go back up? Who knows, man. This stock all over the place. I won't be trading it, but I'm going to leave it on the sidelines. GLMD, this is one that I was watching earlier today. Was thinking about taking a short on this, but that was back then in the morning. And this thing has just pulled back all morning long. So it was a nice little short opportunity. We'll see when this thing gets a bounce. Right now, it's on like kind of an hourly pullback. It's on a big hourly pullback. Could eventually catch a bounce. But right now, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. We'll see if this thing turns back to the upside. VVPR showing up in scanners. And this is one that is a known runner, right? So we'll see if this one can get the next run. It got a whole bunch of volume on the first pop and now has been coming sideways and starting to get some sideways consolidation here. So this is one that I could watch towards the open. We'll see what happens on this one. Still just going sideways for the time being. And I think that right now, I wouldn't be touching it until it gets towards the open. And of course, this is the solar name. So take a look to see that solar's up before you get too excited to jump into VVPR. I'll be watching what happens in FSLR, in Run, and names like that to see if we get the next step up. All right, let's keep going, guys. We'll take a look at the next action out there. Greed is the number one enemy in trading, so don't go for the big ones. I agree, Vic. I think that greed is the number one thing that gets a lot of traders, and I think that another thing is just trying to play the hero. So that goes into greed, right? The truth is, we don't need to be a hero. We just need to be good traders. And I'll tell you one thing. It's better to be the consistent trader than to be the guy that posts the $8,000 or $10,000 gain, but truly has like $20,000 losses in that week. Trust me, there's plenty of traders out there that post those big gains, but have big losses that they're hiding. Not what you want to be a part of. All right, let's keep going. Sometimes the biggest gains are on stocks off the radar. 1,000%, Jane. If I take a look at the swing trades, what have been the good trades as of late? Not the sexy names, not the names like Nvidia, not the names like Apple. The swing trades that have done me well have been in names like Macy's, in Victoria's Secret, right? Names like that, in ANF, right? Names that you don't really kind of trade every single day, right? Goldman Sachs, right? Even Boeing. Boeing is not a name that gets traded that often, right? But I'm in it right now and up big, right? The truth is, sometimes the non-sexy names are the ones that can make you big gains. Not the hero. Not a hero, but the hero. Yeah, man. Let's get that money, guys. Money. Can we not put the screenshots in the chat? No, you can't put screenshots in the chat. If you want to put screenshots up or something like that, I would recommend there's two ways, really. You can go to our Discord and like kind of put it up there. There's plenty of traders that will take a look at that. You can talk to other traders amongst yourselves in our Discord, or you can tag me on Twitter. Of course, I'm at MoneyMitch_TTP, and you can send me a screenshot, be like, hey, Mitch, check this out, or take a look into this trade or something like that, and I can always bring it onto the show. I got no problem. All right, let's keep taking a look out there to see what we can come up with today. I'm still in that swing trade on Boeing. Let's take a peek right quick. Here you guys see it up 310, guys, from 162. We're trading at 156. Yesterday, I was up about like 400 on this as we were down to 154, looking for the $500, $600 trade on this, and it's on 50 shares, right? One thing I do got to keep in mind, though, is that this line is pretty hard line as a support that we broke through that I would like to see act as resistance. So I would not want to see the stock, let's say, get through 157 today, right? It can go up a little bit here, but looking for the next rejection down through that 154.50s. We'll see. I could add to this position, but I'm so far from it, guys. I'm so far. I'm at 162. I'm actually above this long-term trend line now, which is at the 162. So I don't want to ruin my average and then put myself down to 159. end up getting stopped out. But I'm looking to see when I could take a next shot, maybe add even just 25 shares in Boeing would be a good add. And then watching this break through that 154 could be that nice $600-700 winner. We'll see what happens on that one. And Boeing is a sick stock. It is sick. It is sick. Everybody in that company should be sick right now. It's kind of funny. They got some corporate office down the street from me. I think it's more the space office, but I feel like going over there and being like, with a sign, I'm short Boeing. What would you guys do? Money Mitch in front of the Boeing corporate office with a sign that says, I'm short. I got to go take a picture, guys. I got to have some fun with them. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is going on in the market today. Of course, the SPY continuing to climb, and that's going to be something to take a look at to see what happens with the Vixie today. But I'll keep watch on that, right? Right now, guys, taking a look to see what else is making a move out here. Let's get to the action. PSA. Okay, that's getting a little lift there. Energy pushing a little bit this morning. XLE starting to come back. Wisdom. Are we going to start to see some oil making a little bit of a lift? Not what you want to see if you're looking for inflationary pressures to come down and continue coming down, but we'll take a look at that. Talkspace. Do you guys know what Talkspace is? I know I don't, but it's getting the lift right now. It just recently got the pop. We'll see if it can continue to pop here. Was in the morning up to its 240s, looking like it wants to take the 250s. Looks a little bit like a cup and handle here. Could pull back towards like kind of the 220s, try to reload here. We'll see what happens in Talkspace. Anybody know Talkspace? I know I don't. No idea. Dell dropped that low. Yeah, let's take a look at Dell. Dell, of course, recently just got included in, was it the S&P 400 or 500? One of the ones, one of the indexes. I got to look it back up. I know it was with Palantir also. So ever since then, it's just been kind of hanging out here and now starting to really kind of push back towards that 118. We'll look to see if it gets back up there. Dell has been kind of a little bit of a mixed noise going up and down here. It is starting to work its way back towards the 130, but I just don't feel like I have a pattern or chart to go off of that. And that's the hard part here. Definitely recovering. Maybe you can ride the momentum in the intraday right now up there towards 118.45. But I feel like all these stocks are a little bit far away from their entries now. And I hate chasing. So these are the days where I really find it hard to long, where the action in the morning, it seems like it's just straight up, right? So it's kind of hard to get after it. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's get back to the day trade side of things, just in case we find an opportunity. Want to be ready to get after it. Another one that I looked at this morning that I should have gone for the short, guys. And a couple of these penny stocks really this morning were really good short setups. This is one that I was looking at to break back down below the 450s. And this was all based on the daily. So I opened the daily chart and I see this kind of gap to fill. And the low there is 489. And I'm thinking, well, it doesn't have too much more juice than 480s. And I was looking at it right here around 6 a.m. It does a nice little pop, and it gets up there to 475s, gets up there towards a high of 492s. And I'm thinking, can it get back up there? I'm not sure. So I think at that point, it started to be right around here around the 460s. That's where I wanted to start to get short as it rejected to go back through the 470s. And that was a nice looking layer right here off the 550s. Could have got short there on the 450s for a move back to 4. Did I think it was going to 360s? Probably not, but I was thinking 4 was in play here, and it's already back down there. Could break through the low. So these penny stocks just not holding as of late, guys. A bunch of them. GLMD gets up there, right back down, right? And so just got to be careful with these penny stocks as of late. It seems like the small cap names are not holding up. And with that could be because we need to see this IWM lead again. And the IWM is setting up here for a rip. So I'd continue to watch this today. See if any of these stocks can make a nice push. SES is one right now, right? Around the 135. Can this one make another step up? All talks and talk is in that IWM, right? And so you got some names that are making some moves this morning. I'd keep an eye on that IWM to see if it stays strong. And IWM overall could be a swing going into, of course, the FOMC, as you expect to maybe see small cap stocks have a little bit of a better environment in a rate cutting environment. One thing that's certain, though, if we go into a recession, then small caps are not the names to be in, right? So I think that's the hardest part right now, determining will we get a recession or not. All right, I sent you the win this morning on Wheeler. All right, Trader Life, I'll take a peek right now. Let me see if I can grab it right quick. All right, fun part is I have Twitter set up as a button. All right, there you go. I see some notifications there. I probably got a nice little message there. All right, let me see if I can get it here. All right, looking around, guys, trying to find it here. Not seeing it right now, my friend. Oh, there it is. There it is. Trader Life, killing it, man. Killing it. Love to see it. Let's put you up here, my friend. All right, here you go, guys. Here's that trade. My man, Trader Life, hitting me up. Got to give him a good like right quick, right? Got to give him a nice little retweet. Love to see it. Love to see it. I'll repost that one, Trader Life. Let's get it. Look at that nice little gain there, guys. Buy on Wheeler at the 859. Sell at the 910. He bought twice. Got 3,100 shares there. Did you sell it all, man? Oh, you sold at 910 and bought it back. All right, all right. Let's go, let's go. Hey, nice gain there, man. Nice gain at all. It's $1,600 to start the day. Hey, I'll tell you one thing, Trader Life. You don't got to do much today, my friend. You can sit back, relax, enjoy the show. But we'll see what happens. You think we're in a recession? That's interesting. And Trader Life, man. Hey, keep sending me setups, man. Keep sending me those wins. I'll be happy to see those wins, man. That's what it's all about. And sometimes you need somebody to keep you accountable. It's also important to catch those losses, right? And be like, hey, today was a tough day. I'll bounce back tomorrow. Keep yourself accountable, man, on both sides, wins and losses. If you do that and you just stay consistent, then you really start to feel right, because you can tell everybody and show everybody that you are consistent and that you're in the right way. You're going the right way, the right direction, making money, right? And of course, it'll be great if we could make, $1,600 every single day. I don't think anybody's going to be complaining if they made $1,000 a day, just even $1,000 a day. Think about that. There's a lot of trading days in a year, right? I mean, that wouldn't be too bad, right? And you're going to have days where you lose. Don't forget that, right? And that's also another important thing, right? And so there's going to be days if you're making $1,600, right? In my eyes, I'd divide that by 3, right? Let's say $1,600, right? So I'm thinking, all right, so what can I do? I can do maybe, $500, $600, right? That's not too bad. $500 of risk a day, trying to make $1,600. Anything above $500, can be careful and things like that. But you're going to have times where you go above that too. So keep that in mind, right? I think it's important to make sure that your profit to loss ratio and the way that you're looking at it for the week outcome and the monthly outcome, keep in mind that you're going to have some slippage on that losing side so that you can keep gaining, right? So let's say if your original is 3-1, when you really look at your execution, it's probably going to be closer towards a 2-1. Right? That's why I don't like one-to-one trading, because when you usually look at the statistical results from one-to-one trading, usually they're risking more than they're making. That is a recipe for disaster. What's going on out there, Zabi? How we doing? Let's go. All right, let's go. Let's go. You heard the phrase that when your neighbor is out of the job, we're in a recession, and when you're out of a job, we're in a depression. I like that one, Vic. That's a good one. All right, let's keep going. Trader Life, get after it, man. All right, let's go. Let's go, guys. Let's see what we can come up with today. All right, VVPR. That's one that I'm taking a look at this morning. Back down to 210. Penny name doesn't want to hold there, guys. So just be careful out there. That's solar name not taking off there. SPY overall, we were going to break through the high. Let's see what will happen there. Rejection. All right, going to be looking what happens in XRT right now. I'm keeping a really close eye. We're starting to come up here, but I think we could reject, and I think that this is going to be fun to watch. Retail trades, especially today, are some of my top trades to look at. So we'll be taking a look, of course, at different names out there, but I think retail trade is one of the hottest areas to look at today. And ANF, with that hard downside action move, told me yesterday somebody was looking for this to really break down. So I'll be watching to see what happens in some of these retail names. Best Buy, will we get the up move through 100? I think I got to watch out the gates and let the market kind of decipher a little bit. But this one's in play both ways. If Best Buy starts to make its way towards 100, it could be a play towards 104. If it starts to break 98, it could easily come through that 96. So there's always two sides to every trade. Oracle, I got you, my friend. Let's take a look, Zabi. All right, so Oracle is starting to slow down. And one thing that you're starting to see is that pretty much what we call a negative divergence, where the RSI was going up, right? So the RSI was coming up with a big spike in price. That was coming up here. But now we're getting a big down move in RSI. And what are we seeing? Not down move in the price action, essentially going sideways in the price action, but a big downturn in the RSI. That's a good sign to look to see what plays out. It doesn't tell us that price is going to immediately go down, but it does tell us that there's a weakening trend here that we need to be on alert for. It could be weakening trend to find some pullback buyers. Another thing that could happen is the price action could come back in line with the action that you're seeing in the indicator, and then you do start to see the price decline. So keep your eyes on this action. I think right now you're trying to battle through that 173. That's your resistance right now, that 173, to see if you can get back above that whole dollar. Right now, you're kind of holding the 9 EMA. You've held it all the way throughout. You've only undercut it once. So I'd be looking for that to kind of hold right now and maybe do an undercut and rally back up towards the upside. But if you start to break the lower support underneath the 9 EMA, so the 9 EMA is right now around what? 171.09, and this is on the hourly basis, right? If I look at the next support level, is on a break through here. So let's say the 170 break. If that breaks, I got to be careful because Oracle could easily just come back down into the 165s. And of course, they gave an outlook on guidance that was really far out. And I think that a lot of people jumped on that opportunity. But can Oracle stay up here? It's going to be pretty hard. We'll find out, guys. At 171, you're talking about what? All-time highs there for Oracle. And whenever you're playing all-time high, realize you're essentially selling into kind of the best days into these stocks. So shorting this stock up here is dangerous, and even longing it is dangerous up here. I think you're in a way that you could still stair step, but at some point the elevator move is going to probably come to the downside. I don't see elevator moves happening to the upside here because you're not surprising anymore. You're just you're riding the momentum wave. Now the question is, will the momentum turn on Oracle? So it's not a bad outlook, but remember, they need to continue the momentum. So you need to see continuous positive outlook, or a name that's very similar, get a positive outlook too, right? So Oracle is very similar to, let's say, like a Salesforce. So if Salesforce can start to get a push, that could be the one that could continue the drive in Oracle. So if anything, what I would be looking at here is not Oracle, but looking to see if CRM can start making a move. Because if that can make the move, yeah, Oracle can stay strong. So I'd be looking at this one now instead of the Oracle. But that's just me, because I always like to play kind of what I call the leader laggard style trade, where the leader takes off, in this case Oracle, and now the laggard trade starts to play catch up. So CRM, they start to come after that because it's right off the bottoming and gives you opportunity to do what? Load in size. So what do you want to see? You want to see volume. I haven't even taken a look at this. Let's take a look. Volume in the last couple of days, right here. This candle is going to be very vital. 40 million, 44 million. So back through 270s, CRM is looking really good for an upside move. Maybe potentially 300 in play as we break through 270s. So this is a nice swing trade to keep on watch. We'll see what happens there in Salesforce. All right, let's keep going. What else is out there? APP could be a good short. It's about up about 50% in the last few days. but overextended. Let's take a look there. APP at 11, of course, it's up there, and they're definitely loving this app. Right now, it's on a huge cup and handle, right? So you guys see that, right? Huge cup and handle on the weekly. Cup and handle. Now at this point, yeah, you're starting to slow down, but you got to be careful, right? This could keep going. Take a look at the RSI. The RSI is giving you that same thing that I just talked about. A negative divergence where the RSI is no longer going up, actually going down, and the price action going sideways. This usually plays out in 1 to 2 ways. Either the stock makes an RSI move back up, or the RSI continues to drop, and then the price comes and follows. We'll see what happens there. Watch for that 90 EMA to hold. It's made a couple attempts to break it and hasn't been able to. This morning, it's right off of it. And not a bad one to think about shorts. What I think about with this one is I either look for blow off tops or for takedowns through the support. SMMT was one of those plays just yesterday. I was looking at this yesterday for a blow off top and then a short through the support. And so that's exactly what we got, right? So this is the morning outlook, and right into the market, you get a blow off top, a push through the resistance that fails and comes right back through the support. That's exactly what we got there on SMMT. Now we're back towards 28.68. So, hey, that could have been a really nice trade yesterday. Wasn't able to nail it. And another thing that I saw on this one was what? Let's go to the daily chart. You can take a look here. We started to get up there towards 90, and then on the day yesterday, we start to come back down on the RSI. So things like this are some ways to find turns in the market. All right, guys, we'll be talking about some fib retracements a little bit later today, so keep your eyes on that. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at what else is moving out there. If you guys have a stock that's moving just now, let me know. I see Verb moving in my scanner, so let's take a look at that. Verb Technology. There's nothing there. It's a 6-cent stock. Looking around to see if there's anything else showing up in the scanners here that's giving me some insight. I don't see too much more there. So I think that at this point, we just got to watch to see what happens in the big boys. SPY right now. Let's go to it. SPY now starting to head to the downside and coming back towards that 830 number. So now we're starting to see a little bit of weakness coming in. And the Vixie right back up there, guys. So this is what I want to keep a watch on. And if there's anything that's made me money in the last couple of weeks, it's been the Vixie. So I'm going to continue trying to play the Vixie. I'll be watching today to see if we get a quick spike. Of course, moves down towards 1201 is something to look at, as we've gotten a couple of downside actions on the recent hourly. We got a spike, a pullback, push up to resistance, another pullback. Right? This is the pullback area. I'm going to look for one more pullback area. We can maybe touch 1220s, 1215s, but looking for a pullback into this area, 1205, to eventually see the spike come back through the 1220s. Back through the 12, I can start to look the opposite side, the short side of things. And one thing's for certain, I can't just look at the Vixie in one direction. It needs to be based on the market and playing that. Scotty, what's up out there, man? It's good to see you out there, Scotty. Definitely good. And like always, man, if you have any questions or something that you just want to talk about, right? Sometimes as a trader, we see something and we just want to talk about it, right? Like, is this a trend that I'm just seeing? Am I losing it here? Or is this something that's very obvious and maybe an easy trade? Dare I say it, right? All right, we'll see what else is out there. What's this one? Let me see. Let me put this big. I can't even see it really. QOIN. I never heard of this one. Let's take a look at that one. QOIN. I don't have the ticker, man, so I'm gonna leave it on the sideline. But maybe making a move out there, and maybe I just don't have it. But hey, we'll see what happens there. You know what's been making a move that's a little bit surprising is Chewy. Here's one that you don't see often. Like I just mentioned, we can talk about it. What do you guys think about Chewy? Are you guys bullish Chewy? Put a 1. If you're bearish Chewy, put a 2. Well, I just shake my head. I don't know what to think here, guys. Of course, this is that roaring kitty kind of stock. And I think he said that he was all out of this position, or at least put a dog picture that was supposedly getting us to assume that, right? I'm not going to get into that situation right now. Don't worry, guys. I won't put out cryptic information so you guys know what position I'm in. I should have done that one. I should have just done like a Boeing crashing, and that's my position. The stuff that happens out there on Twitter, guys. But Chewy making a big move here. And I think that's something to take a look at, right? I looked at what was strong in retail to take a look at maybe what would we get a downside move today if we got downside action. Did you guys see eBay lately? Holy moly, eBay's on a run here, guys. So I don't know, man. I'm seeing Chewy on a 2. Yeah, a lot of bearish action on that. Whatever happened to Bullseye, man? Bullseye left us, man. I don't know what happened to Bullseye. I would love to see her back here. It seems like she traded one of our smaller packages, had some issues, but I haven't seen her back since then. And that's a tough thing to hear because the truth is, guys, we're going to be losing some traders along the way. It's not, everyone's not going to be able to pass the evaluations. I wish it was that simple, but it's not that simple. Now, one thing's for certain is if you're here to make it and keep battling, I'm here to battle with you and continue helping you get to that success. That's what I'm here for, guys. And trust me, I view it as a way to pay it forward for those out there continuing to push, right? It's just my way of giving back so that you guys can keep pushing forward and I can keep making moves up also. We're all trying to make a step up. Now, how are you going to go about it? I'll tell you one thing. It's making improvements. Find what that habit is that you need to make an improvement on to make a real swing in your trading. All right, I'm seeing some more 2s out there. What's going on in eBay, though, man? Have you guys seen this? This has been a massive move. Is this more AI? What's going on out there, right? I think that's something to think about. Chewy, super strong. Walmart, super strong. This thing has just been an absolute monster. It really makes me think like, man, in the pandemic, this was a buy. Walmart wasn't doing anything. Walmart was not making moves, guys. But ever since inflation came into grocery stores, look at Walmart. It's 96% higher. It's crazy, right? eBay light on volume. Yeah, it's light on volume. Is that a rocket move to the upside? I'm just looking at the RSIs here and just trying to find what's strong and wondering if it comes crashing back down. So 5 below, definitely one of those that we can take a look at, right? So this thing has gone way too far back up. So it filled the gap completely. That's one thing to think about, right? So it filled the gap. And always, sometimes when we get these fills of gaps, we get a touch, a blowout above it, and then you start to fade right back towards that gap. So right now, 100, very vital for 5 below. I'd be looking to see if we get a hard action above towards, let's say, 101, and then a cut down back through the 99. Something to look at today. Best Buy, I've talked about this and how it's been hot. We'll see if it can stay hot. Wayfair has been hot lately. Can this get back through the 50? All things to think about. Restoration Hardware, we all know how that one had a big move, and that affected a lot of stocks. That's what got the Wayfair move started. That was this pop. We'll look to see if it takes the next step up here. ASO has been a big push there, and Academy Sports had some good earnings. So going to continue to watch to see what happens in that space. Nike is a big watch, right, in this space, in footwear and accessories and retail overall. So that's something that I'm looking at. I did see Foot Locker's CEO was on Kramer. I don't know if that's a good thing, but we could see that downside come back into Foot Locker there and back towards the 24s. I think in the long run, Foot Locker isn't going to exist in the next, let's say, I'll give it 5 years. 5 years. But that's just the way I see it. As I see Nike and all those companies, all their footwear companies, just moving closer and closer to direct to consumer. They'll still have their footwears in different stores out there, but I don't think there needs to be a store just for shoes to sell like kind of third party, like to like kind of bring people in. No, you'll just go to the Nike store itself and get Nike shoes. You'll go to Adidas, you'll get Adidas shoes, right? You'll go directly, or you'll just go online. And that's the way the buying really happens nowadays. When's the next trading competition? Coming soon, man. Coming soon. I know I'll be excited to do it, but we take a little bit of a break from our stock competitions, right? If we did them every week, it wouldn't be special. And that's why you're excited to join them, Michael. So I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next competition and looking forward to seeing you in the chat right now. Let me know what stock you're watching this morning. All right, guys, it's what do we got? 9:29. Let's go, guys. 9:30. Let's do this, guys. Let's get after it. You guys know what you're at. It's Trade the Pool. Let's go make that money. You guys know what it is. It's time. Let's go, team. Let's get after it. All right, traders, going for it, guys. I'm going to be watching out the gates to see what happens first, and then I'll be kind of making a reaction. As you guys can see, I've always wanted to do the it's time. They need to put me for UFC. I'm ready for it, guys. Let's go, guys. 9:30. We're open. Let's go take a look at the SPY to see the first action here. Will it be an up move or down move? First action, down move here. Quick down move here, guys. Vixie. I'm looking at the Vixie here, and I'm seeing a quick spike there. Vixie, Vixie, Vixie. Already getting a nice little spike here. The SPY, quick move to the downside. Tesla, quick up move here, guys. We'll see if we get some downside moves to come in. Did you guys see PDD yesterday? What a crazy move in PDD after I got out. And let's just say I got out before the getting was good. And man, PDD just reversed crazy yesterday and just started shooting up. We'll look to see if that goes back down today. A SPY, a little bit of a fake out on the downside right out the gates. And I'm glad I didn't overreact and just jump onto the Vixie, as I'm still going to look for that downside action to come in on the Vixie closer towards the 12s and then start to see the recovery. SPY coming right back up there. The Qs were jumping, so did Tesla. So I'd keep an eye on that. Tesla now towards 231, guys. And of course, you guys know I've been talking about Tesla, how it could get into this gap zone and go and make a run to 245. I'm actually going to be looking at it for maybe a potential day trade today. Strong move to 231, strong move to 232s. Could really get moving here. We'll see what happens. NVIDIA is another one to keep a watch on that as we're back towards 118.75. Microsoft, can that stay strong? Of course, with the news this morning, helping it already getting that lift. We'll see if it starts to push back. Apple starting to drag a little bit. So keeping a close eye on the SPY itself. There's a big push right back to the upside. XRT also making a little bit move to the upside. Of course, we got retail numbers today. Look what's leading XRT, Victoria's Secret, to the upside. So right now, of course, I'm not going to short Victoria's Secret, but at some point I'll be watching this. There's a couple of resistance tries. This is trying to make a move back towards 25 on the upside. So if you're looking for upside potential in retail today, this is one that's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. Also, Amazon starting to get a lift there. So I'd keep a watch on certain retail names to see how they push today. Bath and Body Works getting a little bit of a push. Who's getting their candles, guys? Get the candles fast. Get those candles out. I used to have a thing that a winner's candle. I think we're going to have to go back to that, guys. We're going to have to do a little bit of a winner's candle again. I got to get myself a nice little candle, guys. So pretty much the way it works is that we only rock the candle. We only light the candle when we're green. And sometimes just doing an action like that could really kind of give you consistent. You got to find to do something that you'd like to do, so that you kind of force yourself to get to that thing, right? So maybe it's, hey, I can't watch sports unless I'm green today. I know that sounds stupid, but some things like that can really kind of keep you focused. All right, let's see if that first push there, Amazon to 188.60s. Look to see maybe shot get it lifted. It was up earlier. Now it's pulling back fast here. It's a little bit of a mixed noise out there. I am seeing the Vixie up there towards 12.19. So the Vixie is trying to spike here. I'm just watching this longer term trend line to see what happens here. I don't want to just overreact too early and then the move comes down to 12.05s. And I just feel like I'm just jumping way too quickly here. So going to keep a watch to see if we get a hard downside action move. Right now, it's just upside action move. I'm still not seeing the decline, but still not also seeing a monster rip. Tesla coming towards that rip though. 233s now, guys, into the gap zone. I've been talking about this gap zone for Tesla for a while now. I've been trying to trade swing trades for this move, but still have yet to go ahead and capture this. So that's something that I'm thinking about right now. I'm thinking maybe running towards the Boeing cash, as Boeing is bouncing a little bit here, but watching that level that I talked about, right? And so I wanted to see this 157 reject today. Went to 158. I need to go ahead and just set a stop here, a stop in the green. It's okay to get out of Boeing and then get back into it, or just let it go, right? That's fine too, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set there 158.17. So back through that 158, I'm getting out, right? The high was 158.10. So if it breaks the high of the day, I'll be getting out of Boeing today in the green, still capturing there $213, right? So I'm looking for a bigger gain back towards like 500 gain or $600, back towards like 152s and 150s. But we'll see what happens. At least securing here $200, and I can show you guys that because that's what I do here. I'm fully transparent. Look at the chart, guys. Look at that 213s. Stop out there, 6 set on the swing trade. All right, let's go back to it. Let's see what we can come up with on the day trade side of things. And you guys see what I'm being patient right now, letting the market decipher a little bit because we did get some economic data to hit there. And I think it's a very important watch on XRT today. Let's go to the sectors. Cyclicals leading. Why? The retail number. Simple as that. Keep it simple right now. Energy starting to push to the upside. Maybe not what you expect there in energy, but definitely starting to see that push in the last couple of days. Utilities going higher. We've talked about that plenty of times. XLU is one way to play that. Basic materials. We have seen the strong move lately in kind of steel, gold, those types of names, which is still actually down right now on gold pretty significantly. And that's probably going to start dragging into silver. So if anything, I could see the pullback in silver start to happen here as silver is pretty up. Right. So right now I did see gold down pretty big here. We'll look to see if we get a flip, but silver had made a big move up there to 614s. This actually looks interesting for a short for me, guys, as I don't think that we get this pop through the 625, 630s today, but I'll keep a watch on this. We'll see what happens. If it does start to fade down, it could be an easy fade for like, let's say 20, 30, 40 cents. So I think that right now I'll keep this one on the radar. AG, definitely going to be something I'll be watching today. I just got to see which way it wants to break. Does it want to break to the upside through the 630s? Or do you want to break back down through, let's say, the 610s, the 607? I'm going to put the 606 there. I'll alert you guys if I see a break in any direction there. We'll see what happens. Tesla pulling back there, now giving you an opportunity. If you want to jump into the party, the VWAP test was right there at the 231.50s. I'm going to actually look for a 231 move down here and then look to see if we get the spike here. This will be probably my first trade, and the big part is I'm watching the cues to see what happens. Will we get a fade or not? I mean, definitely getting mixed noise out there right now. The SPY is dragging, though. That's one thing that I'm certainly seeing. And the VIX is up there towards 1224. So it's not like the VIX is not making a move. It's already done a move about 10 cents. Just want to see what happens here. Will we get a pullback, or do we just get continued downside today? And it's just a leak. That could happen. So Vixie still on the radar here. We'll see what happens here, guys, as we're starting to see up and down moves in the market. SPY now dragging back down here, and I'm just taking a look to see what happens there. Amazon was ripping to the upside, now pulling back there, so definitely seeing that action out there. Apple still dragging. I'm looking to see what happens in the big names here, especially as we decipher the first 15 minutes in the market. AG just spending get a bunch of volume there, but not really going in any direction. I'll keep watch to see what happens there, but I do think that this is one that I could scalp on the downside. And this is an advantage that we have on Trade the Pool. Normally, you wouldn't be able to get after this one, but we can here. All right, guys, I'm going to go get my scented candle now. Jane said, yeah, let's go. Let's go get that scented candle out. I want to see you lighten that up today, Jane. Get it. All right. Whatever happens on eBay, let me know, guys. Oh, eBay is getting wrecked right now, guys. What? Need to go look at eBay for the short, man. Okay, guys, this looks like a nice fade setup, guys. So I needed to come back to the VWAP here, 64.30s. If it can get back to the VWAP, I can get short on this, going back down towards the 63.70s. Another way to go approach this would be a swing trade, right? Swing trade risking off the 64.50s here for a pullback back towards 62s. It actually makes sense for me on the swing trade side. It's kind of hard to determine which side to go about it right now. Is it swing or is it day trade? And I don't want to copycat trade, right? So I'm not trying to do both of them, but this one looks interesting, guys. Now the question is, can it get back to the VWAP? If it doesn't get back to the VWAP, I can't short it on the day trade, but I could do the swing trade. So I'm going to keep a watch on it here. Of course, this is one of the hottest ones in retail, so you got to be careful. You're definitely shorting the one that was hot, but you're having a top here to go off of. PDD, something's going on in China, man. Because, man, this thing just ripped after yesterday. Remember, guys, I was shorting this and I was like, man, for some reason, I don't know what it is. If there's a big boy here, it doesn't want to go through 94. I got out for a $30 loss and this thing ripped, man, like pretty much what? It ripped from 94 up to 97.50s and now it's at 99, almost to 100. So I don't know what happened there in China, or if Temu is not going to be able to get pushed against. I know the Biden administration was looking at that, but boy, oh boy, what a crazy move there. How's the Wheeler dragon? Wheeler actually going up today, man. I wouldn't touch this thing, man. I'm going to leave that alone. MGNI, Magnite, going down here. Advertising agency taking a whacking today. This actually looks pretty weak here to maybe break down through the 1270s, 1260s. So I don't know what happened there in MGNI, but this looks like an interesting short opportunity here. It looks like it got a buy, but it was teaming up to do different things out there. I mean, I think this has had some earnings recently. I'm looking back in it here. There's some partnerships out there. I'm not seeing too much. Tesla holding the 232s right now. You're right back towards the 1290s there on Magnite. And another one you can look at in this space, TTD, right? And Pubmatic. Pubmatic. Look at that one. Setting up at the 1460s. Looks like it could come right back down. Was in the pre-market down there towards 14. Don't know if that was due to Magnite's earnings or what Magnite was doing, but this does look like it could come right back down here today. Pubmatic was strong and recently just gapped down. Could come right back down towards the bottom end of this range here. eBay, what's up with eBay? Did we get the move back up? Not yet, guys. Not yet. It's hanging out at the 64s. Could reject the 9 EMA right here and then just come right back down. But I'm looking for a move towards 64.25s. SPY hanging in there. There's Tesla back towards the upside. So if you got the opportunity on the 231s, and I had it there, guys, I missed the opportunity there. That's where it gets hard to sometimes just cover the whole market there. I should have been focusing on Tesla's 231 there and getting after it there. We'll see what happens now at the 232 spot. Could come into it here, but I'm risking about the same buck that I would have been able to get the nice little wick entry. Went to 230.80s, so I'd like to see 230.80s now, 231s hold on this and make a move back towards 234s, 235s on the day. We'll see what happens to the Qs. The Qs are still dragging, but not going anywhere, right? You're going sideways right now. I'm looking to see where the move actually makes a directional approach. Healthcare, technology, essentially down out the gates here. So is communication and industrials. So you're getting that pullback out there. Financial services just kind of hanging in right now. We'll keep watch on that. Really looking at the retail space to see what happens. You're getting some pullback. Let's take a look at what's leading from the open here. I see DBI, designer brands making a little bit of a push there. Victoria's Secret, Walgreens Boots Alliance, five below, now above that 100. We talked about how that 100 level was important. It got to 101 and starting to climb back. Urban and Bath and Body Works now back at the VWAP. So if you're thinking this is going back up, you got an opportunity there. I'm just keeping a very close eye on it right now. eBay now starting to climb back here. So this is going to be one that I'll be looking at for a short on the day trade. Let's do it here, guys. I'm going to take a look here at the 20s there. 24s, looking for one more little spike here. Don't want to get in at the 20s. I want to get in above the VWAP. The VWAP right now, 64.25s. The rejection could be all the way up here towards the 64.40s. So looking for a move back like into this spot, 64.30s and 64.45s to really get after it here. Let's see if we can get a little spike here and then start to short this. Doesn't look too bad. And for any reason, if I lose later, maybe I can get after it on the swing trade side of things. It still looks really good here. We'll find out. Rejection there, didn't even get to the VWAP. A little part of me is thinking just jump up here and grab it, but watching the market, it's making an up move here. The Vixie is pulling back. Nvidia just made a quick down move here in Nvidia. So interesting battle today. Let's just say that much. Still looking to get short this eBay. Want to get above the VWAP though. 64.24s right now is where I have the VWAP. Let's look at the 15-minute chart. Yeah, 15-minute chart. Nice rejection off 64.47, 64.50s. Seems to make sense here. So got to be slower to the move here and just be patient. Let's be patient here. See if we can get a little bit of a better entry towards 64.40s. That's what I'm looking at for a short on eBay. SPY bouncing to the upside, the Vixie right back down to the 9 EMA. I'm not going to take the shot here as I think we still get the downside action. Tesla's still hanging in there right now. Nvidia's hanging in off the 117.40s. PDD trying to continue up here. SPY trying to continue up. We'll see what happens there. Another rejection there on eBay is making me want to jump in. I'll tell you that much. It's definitely making me want to just jump out here and get after it. But taking a look at it. Looking at ARM to see if it breaks 141.40s. Okay, not a bad level to kind of keep a watch for. We're back down to the 64s there on eBay. Still looking to see if I can get above the VWAP here, but it might just come right back through that 63.70s here. There it goes, a down move into the overall market. So we could just start to see the leak here in eBay. You know what? I'm going to switch towards the swing. And the swing, I can get after it here. And that's where it gets a little bit harder. But I'm going to get after it on the swing side of things and just get short here. And I'm going to risk towards the 65s, right? I got about $1 here that I can risk. Let's go ahead. Let's do 200 shares here and see what I can come up with. All right, going to do this on the swing side of things. I would like to see a little pop back here, but I'm just going to short the 65.06 there. Just got short there, guys. 200 shares on the swing side of things on eBay. Was looking for the day trade, but the day trade needed to be closer towards the 64.50s. We'll see what happens on that one. If it does come crashing back down, 200 shares can add another 100 shares above the VWAP and then risk off the 65s. We'll see what happens on this. Let's go to the SPY. Let's go take a look at what's going on. Boeing back to $300. So that's actually a good outlook there. We'll see what happens in those swing trades. I'll go back to them in a little bit. Tesla back towards 231. So you got it. I'm getting the opportunity if I think Tesla's going to the upside today. The Qs are keep dragging a little bit. So I'm wondering what happens here. Do we get the downside break or not? Dogs are going barking out there, guys. The dogs are going barking. They're trying to get after it today. Let's go. I think we're still in a little bit of a mixed noise, and I'm watching Apple as it starts to make a lift. It's a good sign there for the bulls, right? But Nvidia is still down pretty big there, at least not having the big up move. ARM's on the pullback here. It's also watching Microsoft as it starts to rise, so that's actually helping the market overall. And so is Tesla, but it's going to be a battle right here. SPY's is playing in the range right now, and so that's why I'm still hanging out. If you can see here, if we went to the 15-minute chart, where have we gone? Pretty much nowhere. So let's stick to this 15-minute chart on the SPY and see what happens. See if we make a move above 565.40s or below that 564.70s. I'm going to change to my other screen here where I got multiple stocks. So if you guys got a stock you guys want to talk about, throw it up in the chat, guys. And don't forget, we'll be joined by my man, Beginner Trading, just soon in a little bit here. I'm hoping to take some positions before then, but starting to see the SPY make a down move here. Vixie make an up move off of the VWAP. So here's where I go and I take an attempt on the Vixie. I start to see this downside action move coming in here. So I'm going to take the first attempt here. All right, guys, just bought there the 1225. So definitely jumping up here, but I went with 1,000 shares looking for some pullback action to add to this and take a bigger shot here, guys. So long on the Vixie. You guys will see the position. You guys see that blue bar. That's going to tell you guys right there. And I can take a look at different stocks out there. If you guys have one you guys want to talk about, let me know out there. Just watching the Vixie and the SPY. Want to see them break on the bottom end of this. Same thing for the SPY. We'll see if we get that breakdown and start to see the move up there. Nvidia coming down. Tesla breaks at 231. Could start to see some retail names also give up the move, right? So like that eBay, we'll be watching for that to come crashing down today. We'll see what happens on that one. It's back towards 64.30s. So giving me an opportunity to add on that. I'm going to go ahead and add on that on the swing trade. But let me just see if I can get it here. $64, 40. Let's do 40. Oof. Don't have the 100 shares. Man, I run out of buying power too fast in this. I need more buying power, Michael. It's buying power. Vixie up a decent amount already, but looking for the pullback back towards like the 222s and 220s here. SPY just made a hard move to the downside, so I actually like that move. I'm looking for pullbacks to add to this, but hey, it's got to be at the right levels, right? So I have orders out there. I'm going to put 1220s out there, put 2,000 shares out there for pullback opportunities here. Now the only question is, will we get the pullback? All right now I got about 2,000 shares out there for pullbacks to add. I'm at 1225s, looking for some pullback action here. It did jump off the VWAP, so now going to be watching to see what happens in the SPY. It's 9:45. It's an important time right now to see if we get some downside continuation here. I think a big stock to watch is Apple. It was kind of red yesterday, of course, with the news that was out there. Tried to bounce back strong this morning. Is up above VWAP. So I'm watching right now to see if we make a move back towards the upside on the hourly, or do we attempt the downside break? So the hourly is what's important here because it includes yesterday's action. So you guys are seeing it right now on the chart. I'll show you guys Apple right here. Let me give you guys Apple's chart right here. So you look on the hourly for Apple, you can see here the action right now. If this gets back into this space, it could probably be a green day for the Qs. If we reject this and it comes back down and breaks through the 215s, we could see that downside continuation. Also, to go take a look at Microsoft as one of those stocks to keep watch. Qs now down there towards 475. Not a big leak though right now, so we're going to get a pullback opportunity. Look to see if the Qs get back above 476 and the SPY above 565s right now, because that could be the attempt back towards the resistance. Right now, if it just comes up a little bit and then hard rejection, that's a rejection of the support. All right, guys, trying to see if this can hold here. So I want to go towards a smaller time frame chart to see what am I seeing on this Vixie, right? So that's the important thing. Looking at it right now, it's trying to reload around the 22s and the 20s right now. Watching to see what happens also in Tesla here. Tesla's going to be a good indicator too, because it's a strong one. It had some relative strength. Trying to recover the 231s right now. It came back down to 230s. So stopped out some traders out there. And one thing's for certain, what's that 15-minute chart? If we can hold that 231 on the 15-minute chart, it could approach back to the upside. But hey, there's going to be some mixed noise today, guys. So be careful out there. There's a battle. SPY looking like it's dropping fast here. Nice rejection there on that action. So looking to see if this can start to hold the trend line. It's just approaching right back towards the high break here. So could step up to the plate and add right here. It's going to be hard. I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to take a shot on the Vixie today. That's for certain. This is the starting of it. Now looking for some pullback to really add into this. So give me the pullback here instead of the breakout. 1230s is where I can add here, but I don't want to just jump up at 1230s and get caught on this. So I'm looking for some pullback back towards like 22s and 23s here, and then going to look for the nice big win here. So right now, I'm just looking for some little pullback action to give me a nice opportunity. Downside in the Qs coming fast there, guys, down to the 474s, 60s, and now I want to see what's going red, right? What's going red? Technology's red here. Healthcare is red to the downside. Utilities is to the red side. Has financials got to red yet? Oh, it's looking like it wants to drop there. XLF now starting to reject the 4520s there. Could take a look at Goldman Sachs, but I'll leave that one alone today. Morgan Stanley through the 100 looks interesting for me. Right now, just cut towards the 114s. Would love to see this come back to 135 right now. Could short Morgan Stanley today, as that one looks like a good opportunity. Let's go back to my other chart here. And if you guys have any stock you guys want to kind of keep up, let me know, guys. I can always put up that chart. It's looking good right now. There's that Morgan Stanley coming down towards that 100. About to break it right now. It just tapped it. 100.05. Like to see it come back towards this VWAP line and then get short on it. JPM's another one to take a look at. Bank of America has been coming back there. Wells Fargo is up at 54.60. So let's see what happens with that. That's actually strong compared to the other action that I'm seeing in the capital markets. Looking at the action there, the Qs starting to slow up there a little bit. So is the SPY, looking for that next really big move there. Need some decline here in the Vixie to kind of get the ads. So back down towards the 22s and the 1220s could be that ad to take the big swing. Watching Apple, looking around in the market to see if there's any conversation out there. Let's see if there's any early Fed talk. I don't think there will be, but of course the FOMC meeting starts today. But the question is, what will happen after that, right? SPY looks like it wants another leg down here. Let's see if it can do that move. $475 rejection is going to be important here for the Qs. We'll see what happens. All right, let's go looking at some of the retail names. How did Victoria's Secret do now? Starting to head back down towards that 24 as we start to see a little bit of a turnaround there. ANF, big pop. Right back down. So that's actually looking pretty decent there. AEO, we'll see if we get some downside action to come in on this. Maybe it's right back down towards the 1940s. Doesn't look too bad there for attempts on the downside action. Lulu also in the red as being a strong retail name, right? And what about Ulta? That was starting to make the move to the upside. That's holding in right now. Cyclical still up here. Recreational vehicles doing pretty decent out the gates. Gambling stocks up a little bit here. Auto truck dealerships up a little bit. So looking around to see what's making a move to the upside here. There's the Qs getting a little bounce there, guys. So definitely a little bounce there. We'll see what happens around the VWAP as things start to come back. Tesla still kind of mixed around, right? It still looks bullish here, though. We'll see if it's able to hold the pullbacks that it did. 15-minute was a wick down below, but look where the body is kind of closing. It's closing still up towards the top end of the range. So could take the move on the upside. I think Tesla is definitely strong today. If we do get a big up day, yeah, Tesla's going to be one of those that I could look at. Another thing that tells me it is that you're seeing Lucid up today. You're seeing Ford up today. You're seeing GM up today. That's good insight. Beginner trading, GM. Good morning. Is it GM or is it good morning to you? All right, guys, we'll be getting on beginner trading in just a couple seconds here, guys. Let me just go ahead and make sure that he's making his way over easily. Let me go check on Twitter right quick. Make sure that I don't have a message. All right, now he's good. He's getting in here. I just heard that little bloop. He'll be in here in just a second, guys. Taking a look out there. But yeah, long on the Vixie, guys. Long on the Vixie. 1,000 shares long. We'll see what happens there. My man's going to be joining me in just a second, guys. And let me tell you guys a little bit about beginner trading right quick before we actually bring him on. I think it's very important. Like I tell you guys all the time, find traders out there that you can relate to, right? That you can actually learn from, right? There's too many out there that are just trying to show you guys the Lambos and things like that. But there's nothing more than finding a true community that can support you guys, right? This is actually the community that I first started in, right? So check it out, guys. Beginner trading. If you haven't checked them out before, guys, check it out, guys. Absolutely for free. He does a lot of some futures trading now. We're actually going to be talking a little bit about that. I want to talk to him about it during the show. But I want you guys to go ahead and give him a nice follow. I'm going to throw it up here in the chat, guys. Click the link and give my man a nice subscribe. I want to see a nice little jump today for him. He deserves it. Let's bring him on, the man himself, John London. What's going on, man? How we doing, man?
Hey, doing good, brother. Doing good, man. I see the market's kind of choppy today. The big FOMC event tomorrow is causing everybody to just be sideways, I think. And so I've been watching it. Tomorrow's a ridiculous day, man. Tomorrow's a ridiculous day. But good to be here, man. Good to be here. Good to see you,
definitely. Good to have you on, man. We've done a lot of trading together, and then we've gone separate ways, and since then you've traded different things and I've traded different things, and I think that's what's all important, right? Is always learning. And there's so many traders out there that we can learn from. It's always great to have different traders on, so it's good to have you on today. I hope you guys give my man a follow. And right now I'm taking more of the volatility and just trading the Vixie a lot, man. It's been a pretty good trading vehicle for me, John.
I see it. Honestly, I didn't even know you could trade the VIX. Really, I know it's a volatility indicator. So the higher it goes, the more volatile the markets are. So is the VIX up today? I'm curious what that looks like leading into the FOMC meeting. It's spiked up a little bit. And so yeah, I think it could go either way. Really, I think like the VIX, we could have more or less volatility leading into the FOMC. I think FOMC rate cuts start tomorrow. The big question is whether we cut 50 or 25 basis points. I hope it's only 25, but I think if 50 basis, there's good and bad things about either outcome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the VIX is interesting. I have to go back and look and check to see what it generally does around FOMC meetings. Let me see when the last one is. Last FOMC meeting. July 24th. Was it that long ago? Yeah, I guess so. So the last FOMC meeting, it spiked, right? It spiked ahead of the last, the day of the last FOMC meeting, it spiked. So interesting,
Yeah, I've actually traded the Vixie on both sides. I think I'm like 8 out of 9. Nice. So not too bad on the last couple of weeks on the Vixie. And the one thing that I love about it, John, is just the spread. It's 1 penny. You don't have to worry about liquidity. You know what I mean? This thing trades super thick in the volume. You look at the level 2s and you just see nothing but thousands of shares on both sides. And so, you don't get too much of that fooling action. Let's say that much, right? That dark pulling or someone trying to get an upper hand on you. And like you get in like, let's say the penny stock game, right? Or the small cap names where, the truth is you're playing against the algorithms, right? You're playing against them and they can really take control, right? So that's the way I like the Vixie, because I don't feel negative going in this with 1,000 shares. I've traded it up as much as yesterday. I traded to 3,000 shares, right? And I think that that's the way that I'm looking. I'm looking for trades that a little bit easier in the sense of that I'm not needing a monstrous move to make money. but also got to keep in mind, right, the risk management side of things. But I think what's interesting on what you just mentioned about the FOMC and the rate cuts, 25, 50, what I really think is important here is what was talked about, and I mentioned it in the opening of the show, Einstein of Wall Street. I know you've seen that crazy guy that takes all the pictures, right? I've actually met him on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, and he said something yesterday that was important, right? He said all like the situation analysis before that, but the last thing I think was the important one, and which is the important one, which I think the market's going to grab onto. Everyone's focusing on the moment as in an event, right? So tomorrow event, and you frame that into a thinking, right? Situational awareness. But let's not think about it in tomorrow's sense. Let's think about it as how tomorrow will affect the rest of the year. I think is more important, right?
Right.
Forget about
100%.
tomorrow, because tomorrow
100%.
is tomorrow. That will make money in minutes. But what's going to make money really is the next couple of months, right? And so I think what's important is what he said about how what's going to be mentioned is this is one cut of many down the line.
Sure. Yeah, he said we'd have, or go ahead.
And that's the more important thing, right, John? At least I think so, because the truth is that you're giving me the roadmap to moving forward. And that's what everyone's going to be paying attention to.
Right, 100%. And I think he said he's going to do 4 cuts this year. The question is how many basis points is each cut. You know, a 25 basis point cut, to put it into perspective, is 1/4%. You know, so if we're doing multiple 50 basis point cuts, that's bringing interest rate down multiple percentage points, right? If it's 25 basis point cuts and we do 4 of them, you know, it could be 1% down. Either way, you know, this is going to influence real estate, you know, and again, I'm to be honest, I'm a little bit against super aggressive cuts. Like, I've seen inflation gone up so much. I think the housing market is overbought. It's gone up. Prices have gone up so much that like the housing market is gone. I think the housing market's up like 60 or 70% residential wise over the last 5 years, you know, which are crazy gains. They're not sustainable. And I think eventually we're going to have some big crash or correction if we don't stop effing around with house prices. And I think like rates, by cutting interest rates, my fear is that it's going to make that worse. I think if we bring interest rates down, there's a lag. So within a year or two, mortgage rates are going to start being affected by the rate cuts, right? And so, you know, mortgage rates, auto loans, those are all going to start coming down within a year or two. And they might go down just in sympathy from the Federal Reserve announcing rate cuts to begin with. And then that might cause like another bull market in real estate, which again, I just don't think it's sustainable. I think inflation is also a big problem, where the last 5 years, the inflation that we've seen is crazy. You know, prices have gone up in a lot of places 20, 30, 40%. And I worry about a low interest rate environment because that's going to contribute to more spending, not less. You know, when interest rates are low, everybody has cheaper access to money. And so they generally spend more, not less. And while it's good for the economy to a certain extent, obviously a low interest rate environment means more spending, which is good. I just hope we get inflation under control. You know, we've had a couple good months of it, but it can have a domino like snowball effect quickly. So that's what I'm worried about. And I'm wondering how it's going to affect the market as a whole, because, you know, the market is up a lot from AI, and AI is influencing things. I just don't want to see another .com crash scenario like we got in 2000.
Yeah, and the truth is that we're building up, right? And I talk about it I talk about it more in the car prices, because I mean, houses are houses, right? The truth is you don't buy a house every 3 years or 4 years, right? But you do buy a car like every, 4 or 5 years, and that's what it seems like for the average consumer, right? Sure. Go take a look at the prices now.
Yeah, let me see.
You are going to be blown away,
car
John.
Prices, graph.
You could just look at the average the average price of a vehicle, right? A new vehicle. And there's a lot of information. Cox Automotive does a lot of stuff with this. But what I think is really insane is just the thought of like, I talked about this and I put it out on the Twitter as like a Camry, right? Camry was a standard car, right? Back in the days, you're thinking, it's not a Corolla, so not like maybe 12,000, but 20,000, 25, maybe on like the absolute high end, 28, right?
Right.
Well, get ready, guys, because these cars are now going for like 38, close to $40,000. And
Yeah.
the RAV that I bought my RAV and I got a sticker price, and I still remember I bought the I still battled to get the sticker price down, and it was brand new, and I got it for like 26 something, right? And I think it was like going for like 29 on the sticker, right?
That's
and so
good.
now that same car is close to 45,000, close to $50,000, man.
Yeah.
And
Honestly, or go ahead, keep going. Yeah, sorry.
that might seem like it's like a little bit of money, but when you look at the car payment and you're getting payments that used to be 300 something, 400 something, and now those payments are $700 to $900 a month.
Sure. Not sustainable. It's not sustainable.
They can't, John. They can't pay that, man.
That's why everybody's pushing for rate cuts. And my fear is that, like, if we cut rates really aggressively, prices for everything are going to start going up. It's supply and demand. If you sell bubble gum, the example I always use on my stream is like, if I sell bubble gum and I put out bubble gum for 25 cents a piece, and by the end of the day that bubble gum's all gone from a lot of spending, what am I going to do, right? As a business, I'm going to bump prices up. I'm going to bump them up to 35 cents. And that's the nature of this. And so the fear is that when mortgage and auto loans interest rates start to go down, businesses might raise prices more, especially in cars, especially in houses. And I think that's going to, you got a lot of people that have been negatively impacted by inflation over 5 years that are complaining about, interest rates, right? And to be fair, interest rates are not sustainable either right now. Like a lot of people are unhappy because the conventional appeal of buying a home, as an example, used to be you could buy a home, you could get a mortgage, you got to put down a sizable down payment, but you're going to pay less owning the home than you would in rent, right? But that has pivoted. That's reversed. That's not the same anymore. Now you pay more money in rent, or now you pay much more money to buy to get a mortgage because interest rates are 6 or 7% than you do renting a home, and so it's pros and cons. Like in some ways, low interest rates are obviously good, but in some ways, they're bad. The real problem that we're facing is from 2020. Like 2020, we did quantitative easing by the Fed. And which basically means the Fed printed a bunch of money and then used that money to buy like U.S. assets like bonds. It injects liquidity into those markets and causes, interest rates to go down for banks, right? Banks can lower interest rates because of the extra liquidity and price changes. And there's a lot of nuance behind it, but that's one of the reasons prices went up so much as well. I'm looking at a car price value now. In 2012, the average price for a new car was $30K. This is only in 2022, so I'm sure this has gone up a lot. In September of 2022, it's $48K. So it's up 60-something%, it looks like, since then. I'm sure if I can find another graph. And that's not even including the last 2-3 years, which have made it, I'm sure, probably worse.
And we're not talking about the bad part of this, really. It's not necessarily just the car prices that are higher, but also the interest rates that's higher.
Sure. Yeah, no, interest rates are definitely higher.
You pay 10% interest rate, and you're going to charge me 100% more on the sticker price.
Right. No, 100%.
Talk about inflation. I mean, that's as sticky as it gets, man. And one thing I see, and I clearly see it, I was at the dealership the other day, and I was just getting my oil changed. Don't worry, guys. I'm not going crazy. I'm not buying one of these cars. But I could see this old couple, and like this probably in their 70s, 80s, probably, right? And they're buying a new vehicle. And the guy, I could just hear him, and he was just making it sound like it was a great deal. I'm like, bro, there is no great deal on this whole lot.
Right. Well,
I don't care what you tell me, man.
The salesmen are struggling too, is what. Like I knew a couple mortgage brokers, right? Like, and they got kind of weird with me, because like they did really, really well in 2021, 2020. The Fed stepped in 2020 from everything going on, and they brought interest rates down to almost zero, right? And so a lot of these like mortgage brokers, auto salesmen, lenders, banks, they all thrived post 2020 because interest rates were so low. The Fed was keeping interest rates so low. They did millions of dollars in business. But then when the Fed started to do rate hikes and raising the federal funds rate, their business just kind of dove off a cliff. Their business dove off a cliff. They lost 50% or more of their business, and so they're pushing for rate cuts, of course, as well. And I get it, like I understand. I don't know if either one of them is necessarily a good situation. There's consequences for both. If we maintain too high of interest rates for too long, the economy breaks, and I think that's why people are worried about 50 because they're scared that's a sign the economy's breaking. But also, if we keep them too low for too long, inflation spikes. So either way, you got to pick your poison there, I guess.
That's for sure. That's the truth, is that you got to pick your poison. And I think that at this point, it's more about what are you willing to pay for and how much you're willing to pay it. And I think that the housing situation is going to stick around for a little bit longer, especially with the overbuilding that's going on right now. And I see it everywhere. And I've been talking about this, but I think it's something definitely to keep your eyes open for. It's the same thing that happened right before the housing crisis before. Right? An oversupply to the market. And right now, the home builders, and I've talked about these just by the stocks themselves. Look, you can look at ITB, you can take a look at Toll Brothers. Look how it's taking off, guys. There's a reason why. There's a reason why these stocks are taking off, guys. It's not because they don't expect them to sell. It's that they're going to oversupply the market until the demand is no longer there. And why? Because they're making money.
Right.
They're
keep that train rolling.
Exactly. They're going to keep it going. So that's why I think that, maybe if you want to hedge yourself, you can take a look at like Carrier Global, ACs, baby. You need some ACs. I'll tell you that much to power these houses. And look at the stock reaction lately. What is that? That's crazy, man. BLDR, another one, Builder's First Source, building materials, man. And I think these are types of plays that people are just missing right now. Did you see Redfin lately?
Yeah, no, I've seen its crazy rises too.
Look at that, man.
It's been thriving. I remember when it was super weak too, like not that long ago. Redfin was looking not that great, and so it's had a nice little resurge, nice little bounce back.
And I think this is all things to kind of be thinking about, guys. Of course, we're like talking a little bit longer term, but all things that are going to be weighing in on the consumer. And when we have tons and tons of companies like Home Depot, Lowe's, even Ross Stores, the airlines, all warning us that the consumer's slowing down, yet we're not seeing it in the stocks reaction, right?
Well, it's the AI. It's AI, bro. AI has basically caused this big, and AI is useful, but the way I always describe it is like, I think AI really is that next big technology, but in 2000, the internet was the next big technology. We can look in hindsight and see the internet was that next big thing in 2000, but that didn't stop us from having one of the longest bear markets in decades for 2000. And so it doesn't mean we're not going to crash in this situation, but AI is propping the market up, and who knows if it can keep it up. Again, like I said, tomorrow is going to be huge. The FOMC meeting, it's probably the biggest FOMC meeting we've seen in years. And again, it's pretty probable what we're going to do at this point. Right now, the odds of a 50 basis point cut, I think, are 60-40 at least, maybe 65-40. So there is a chance. I think my guess, and it's just a straight up guess because I have no freaking idea what the market's going to do. You might be able to predict. My stream's been talking about it. I've got the last 4 CPI reports exactly right. I predicted them exactly right, the exact percentage correctly. But I can predict them correctly. But that doesn't mean I can predict the direction the market heads from it, right? And so it's pretty probable we're going to do a 50 basis point cut tomorrow, but who knows how the market's going to interpret that. And if we do a 25 basis point cut, there is an argument that the market could love that because the market's scared of a 50 basis point cut right now. So if we do 25, maybe the market could love it or the market could hate it. It depends on what the market fears at any given time. So it's nuanced and it's hard to tell, really.
Right now, I'm watching the action in the Qs, guys, and this is what I think is more important than the SPY's up action here. I think the SPY is leading to the upside right now, but one thing I'm certain is the Qs are just stuck right now in the range. A lot of rejection in this 476, 75 range right now, and I'm seeing Apple still not really kind of making an up move. Seeing Microsoft that had good news, almost going towards a red opening action here, and so I'm keeping a close eye on that. Tesla still holding up at the top end. That's a little bit stronger. But then also watching NVIDIA, and NVIDIA is still in the red. It still hasn't really recovered the VWAP on a hold there. So keeping a close eye on what's going on in the Qs. I did add on my Vixie. I got 1222s now. The action's right now off of the 1217s. What I'm looking to see is if the Qs can hold that bar right now, make a wick here and not close towards the 477. Close towards that 477. You start getting that up action here, and it's not just wicks. I love to say it. Wicks are tricks, man. Tricks are for kids, John.
Yeah,
don't forget it, man.
100%. Honestly, one of my favorite strategies lately, and again, this is something that I've like developed this over the last 3 to 6 months, right? One of my favorite strategies in trading. You know, I mostly trade futures with it because I'm mostly a futures trader now anyway, but I do trade some stocks with it too.
Let's continue the conversation, but I did want to get into the conversation of futures versus common stocks. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so I'll go over this. I'll go over the strategy really quickly.
Yeah.
So basically, you know how traders are. Every trader wants to ride breakouts. It's the exciting thing. They want to ride big breakups and big breakdowns, and they want to be all exciting and everything like that. But in my opinion, right, like my channel kind of pivoted to like economics. So we cover all the economic reports, economic meetings, all that stuff. I noticed a very consistent trend in that, which is that preceding those big reports, especially the day of the FOMC meeting or the day prior, like today for the FOMC meeting, it is super probable that we're going to go up and down, choppy, neutral, sideways, right? And so in those situations, one thing I've been doing, you have to have patience to wait for this, but one thing I've been doing is waiting for the FOMC meetings, waiting for the CPI reports, and leading up to those reports, I buy the bottom of the range and I sell the top. So, you know, and a good example is the Q today. You know, you could look at it and just buy it. I use the 200 EMA. I buy the bottom, sell the top, and I attack sideways action, which is kind of different than how I always trade it. I always look for breakouts, but it's much more predictable, in my opinion, to get sideways choppiness leading into these big reports. And if you could just buy the bottom of the range, sell the top of the range, very simple, very easy, that's had a pretty high edge. You know, I've been trading you know, the last 10 days, 80% daily accuracy with that. So, you know, it's been working.
Yeah, no, it's a great strategy there. And just to kind of mention of things that you can maybe use to try to find those range is you're saying the moving average. Another thing you see on my screen, the Bollinger Bands, right? Those standard deviations, right? So like in here on the Qs, when you were getting down there, you could see the standard deviation got pretty strong towards that 474.75. It was at the bottom end of the range, and look how it comes back to the top end of the range.
For sure.
And sometimes I feel like, yes, the mean reversion strategies, right? Those are what those are essentially, right? And I think that those some of those are the best strategies, right? Because the truth is that stocks don't just go in one direction. Eventually, it's going to revert to the mean. Now, there are some stocks that have momentum, like penny stocks that are just pushing so strong that you give a nice momentum. But even these penny stocks, 100%. We've all seen them. They all come back, right? And so I think that, yes, you got to trade maybe some higher quality names or in the futures, right? Thicker contract kind of vehicles to do that. But can you trade ranges? Yeah, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing 100%. Wrong with trading ranges and also selling within the range, right? Not looking for breakouts or breakdowns. That's what too many traders try to do often. And then they just lose money. And then the trade finally does happen and they don't even have a piece.
Right, they get out of it, you know. And a good example of this is high of the days. Like, I used to love high of the day breakouts, but I would buy them and just get dumped on. I would buy the high of the day, dumped on, buy the high of the day, and I kept doing it. It's like the definition of insanity, continuously doing the same thing, expecting a different result. I would buy the high of the days and just get dumped on. And eventually I said, hey, I'm not going to buy the high of the day. I'm going to start shorting the highs of the day instead. And honestly, I had much better results. You know, I trade like the NASDAQ 100, the S&P 500. I trade like the SPY, the Q, you know, gold sometimes and stuff like that. But, you know, the point remains in a lot of stuff, you know. Going back to the argument or the you know, which one has the best edge or which one's good, futures or penny stocks.
Futures I think common stocks, guys.
It depends on the trader, right? It really genuinely depends on the trader. The futures market, like a lot of the time, it's similar. So an example of this is like when I watch the NASDAQ 100, basically
stepping
the QQQ.
Guys, stepping up here.
Yeah, look at the NASDAQ 100 fall too.
I've been waiting for that rejection there. We just got it there off that 476.50s. As you guys know, I've been talking about that level there. We just got a little blow off top towards the 476.75s. So I'm taking my shot here, guys. 4,000 shares deep, 1221. We're going for it, team. Let's see what happens here. Let's see if the markets want to continue to drop. What's a good sign? Microsoft, it was green, right? Well, that just went red. So
Nvidia. Nvidia hit the VWAP and broke down, and that's what I was about to say. Is that I watch Nvidia. Nvidia leads the market in everything right now. In everything, if Nvidia falls under the 200 EMA and the VWAP, the Q's probably following it. The Nasdaq's probably following it. The E-mini is probably following it. Although the E-mini or the S&P 500 is a little bit. It can be its own animal with the Russell or the Dow. But yeah, Nvidia is the one I watch more than all of them. And I trade mostly futures, but every day I have an eye on Nvidia. I watch it, like a hawk, because it, with the AI boom, it leads the market. It's the biggest stock in the market, I think.
All right, right now, risk is set there towards 213s, guys. I don't have it placed, like always, guys. I don't want to show my hands too early here, but definitely that's where I'm going to get out there. Now I need to watch on like kind of 5 minutes that we don't get back above that 476.50s. A 5-minute close below VWAP is what I'm looking for here on the Qs to just give me a sign that the weakness could approach the bottom end of the range, like we just talked about, right? Doesn't mean it's going to break it down. But just approaching that bottom end of the range would get the Vixie to the top end of the range. And I'd be deep in the green with big size, right? One of the number one habits, John, that I've been working on, and just because I think it's very important for traders always, and this is my newest thing, is just finding one habit that you can make a change into, that you see it as a bad habit, that you need to change into a good habit. So one of those for me was getting too big too quickly, right? Just going for it too quickly, right? And I think that can easily happen for traders out there, right? But what I started realizing is if I stay small, and then once the trade starts working in my direction and I can step up to the plate there, at that point, I'm giving myself good risk to return with good sizing. Now, 100%. when I'm just buying the dip and just knife buying, and hoping that things go back up, that's not the strategy there that's going to work, right? You can buy as much as you want down there, but the truth is you're all the way up here and you're just buying down there. So what I've lately tried to do is maybe try to buy on the way down, right? But staying really small, let's say 100 shares or something like that, where I can manage it. Even if it falls through the floor, you don't get mad and you don't turn around and throw the computer out the window. And so that's the important part. And then once things start to work back into direction and you can go through that level, then you can step up to the plate, right? And so that's what I'm doing here in this case here. And now I just need to go ahead and see what I need to get this through the top end of the range. What's going to tell me it here? The Qs. You see how we went right back to the same level here. The SPY is actually a little bit higher. So watch how the SPY is at the top end of the range there. And I'm looking at what? Looking at like an Apple. I'm looking at it like an Nvidia here. What's going to happen? Are we going to get the up move right back to the top end? If Microsoft goes to 441 here, I'm probably out of my Vixie, right? But the truth is that that's what you want to be doing. It's just setting yourself up for a momentum move. And then from there, seeing what happens. Now, between futures and common stock, one thing that I would say, and I'm really interested in looking into this is, man, how do you sleep?
I just don't trade. I don't. So in futures, I never invest. I never swing trade in futures. It's purely a day trading market. So regardless of what it's doing early in the morning, I'm not really, it's not influencing my sleep at all because I'm just not trading it. I'm not I invest in stocks. I invest my favorite. I'll invest in blue chips mostly. But with day trading, it's mostly just futures and it's mostly attacking. Like I said, it's just attacking ranges. I love doing exactly what you said, which is, I had a bad habit of adding to a losing position, right? So I'd add to losses, try to save me from those losses. If you notice, it's much better and much more edge driven to add to winners instead. So you get up 20, 30 bucks in a trade, you can add some size. I can double my size if I'm up 20 or 30, 40 bucks, depending on the range of the stock or the symbol. And then once I do that, then I have a $30 or $40 cushion in that trade. And so if the trade continues in my favor, I make even more. But even if I fail on that trade, even if it turns completely against me, a lot of the time I'm break even. And that's how you start the day. That's how I build up a cushion. As I build up a cushion on the day, if I got a $100, $200 cushion, then I'm allowed to double my size if I want. And then I can double my size. If I lose, I'm back to break even. If I win, I've got a $400 cushion. Then I can choose and kind of make the decision whether I want to increase size again. And that way you have small losing days where if you start out and you're down a couple hundred, if I'm down a couple hundred, I just walk away. But if I'm up a lot of the time I'll have these much bigger winning days, you know, and that way small losses, big wins is the name of it, the name of the game there. And I think that works beautifully. You just got to have the discipline to do it, you know.
Yeah, I think another thing is there is still a little bit of a learning curve, right? Once you start dealing with contracts and lots, like Michael's asking, how do those work, man? Yeah,
the size is the difference. So it goes by ticks instead of cents. Like with shares, I came from shares, right? Mitch knows, you know. It goes from, you know, in shares you have cents per share. This is ticks, right? So the sizing is much different. It confuses a lot of people because in futures you think that you're trading like options contracts, but you're not. Like one contract of the NASDAQ, as an example, moves. The NASDAQ, I think, is $10, or it might be $5 a tick. I'll have to go back and look. I know the E-mini is like $12.50 a tick. Let me see how much per tick does NQ move. I think it's AI will answer this pretty quick. It's $5 per tick, right? So every tick up or down the NASDAQ moves. That's like, it's kind of like the equivalent of having $500 a share. You know, if you have $500 a share, every cent up or down, you're going to make or lose $500, right? Futures is the same way. Aside from that, right? Aside from that difference in ticks, and each symbol that you traded, that's what the NASDAQ 100, basically the NQ is what it's called. If it's the E-mini, it's $12.50 per tick. So every tick up or down, it's $12.50 in profit or loss. If I have two contracts, it's $25, you know, up or down. If I have four contracts, it's 50, you know, up or down. And so with the regular E-mini or the NASDAQ, it can get big sizing really quick, but you can also trade micro contracts, which are much smaller, where they're like 50 cents a tick or whatever, depending on what it is. But aside from that, it's very similar to stocks, right? The futures market, like the contract sizing is different. You got to learn how to manage it. And then the other big difference is that every quarter, contracts expire, right? So every quarter, you know, every 3 months, basically, you have to switch to the newest contract. So like right now, what are we on in the NASDAQ? The NASDAQ, and I think it actually switches this week. It's called the rollover. The NASDAQ.
The rollover, the witch.
Yeah, quad witch is Friday. Yeah, it's triple witching is Friday.
Triple witch.
Yeah, because
the
quad witch is. Yeah. So watch the market Friday after the FOMC meeting. The reason they call it quad or triple is because it used to be a day where all four major contract types expired same day. Options, option contracts, index options. So stock options, 500 options. Index futures like the S&P 500 futures like I trade, and then stock futures, single stock futures. But they got rid of single stock futures altogether, and like I think it was like 5-10 years ago sometime. And so there used to be like Apple futures that you could trade that would also expire on quad witching days, but now they call it quad witch, but it's really triple witching, which stands for index options, like again S&P 500 options, index futures, S&P 500 futures, or you know NASDAQ 100 futures, or what's the one I didn't, or stock options, index options, and index futures. And now the three that will expire this Friday. And so historically, it's a day of big volatility where, you know, all those contract types expire the same day, and that causes big upward swings and big downward swings. But you never really know. But we'll see what happens Friday.
Yeah, always starts up a little bit more action, especially also towards the closing action in that last power hour. I've seen things start to move a little bit more as you get those imbalances also after the contracts, right? One thing I'm looking right now to see is what happens, right? We're still playing a little bit of mixed noise. Microsoft's still in the red. Apple's near the top end of the range. NVIDIA trying to hold VWAP. Tesla's the stronger one, has made a move towards that 235. There's a gap zone to look for that 245. I think I even peeked into your stream the other day, and I was like, Tesla today.
No, Tesla, dude. Tesla's crazy volatile, brother. It's honestly
It's a hard trader. I call it the dragon, man. I call it the dragon because you're trying to tame a beast.
It can go up or down crazy percentages. People, you know, and again, the people who watch it are just. It's volatile, you know. And again, I like Tesla long term. I think Tesla has a lock on EVs as long as Elon can be quiet about controversial politics stuff and just kind of focus on selling cars, bro. But I like Tesla long term. You know, long term I like it. Short term is volatile. You know, the other question mark is like what happens with the robotaxi event. They're advertising robotaxis as like an investment where you could buy a car and then basically let it drive itself around all day while you're at work, and then you could just rake in money. And that seems great. It almost sounds too good to be true, though. Right? If it works, I'd love to do it. It sounds too good to be true. Like, I'm gonna work and my car's gonna drive around town hanging out. Like, I don't know about that, man. It seems too good to be true, right? Like
clubs, picking all those clubbers.
Yeah, showing up to the club, hanging out, living his life, while I'm at work.
I'm gonna train my car though to be like, don't puke in it.
Yeah, for sure. It'll turn into a freaking robot real quick. We're almost at that level now, where AI is bringing us to that level. People got online internet AI girlfriends and stuff. Oh man.
Yeah, you haven't seen my girlfriend in Roblox or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. That was back in the AIM days, dude. I grew up in the early internet days where everybody had an internet, internet chat room girlfriend. But
yeah, man, life. Yeah. The Sims is becoming real life over here. But definitely going to be watching to see what's going on out there, guys.
For sure.
And wouldn't you know it, on a day where, of course, there's a lot of people kind of not knowing where the market's going to go, we're getting the chop, right? I mean, it's just hanging out right now, guys.
Sure.
It's been a whole hour in the market. What is it doing? It's all those people that want to trade the break and breakdown. It's like, no, you better wait. If you want to stick around till lunchtime, maybe I'll let you see the move. But
they're waiting for tomorrow. They're all you gotta so the FOMC meeting causes such volatility, right? That all the big traders at the big hedge funds, the big traders at the big firms, they don't want to take big positions today because they understand if they buy something big today, tomorrow it might cancel out any gains they made, right? So a lot of the time they're waiting for this big event tomorrow to happen, and then they're going to pick a direction. And so they're really apprehensive at the days leading up to it. It's why I have that choppy strategy on the days before FOMC. I'm really curious to see what the market does tomorrow before the FOMC meeting. I think then we're going to get some really obvious ranges. So I'm excited for it. I got to run pretty soon. Carol came in. That's why I had muted it and was talking to her. So, Carol's not feeling the best right now, so I got to run pretty soon. But
all right,
yeah, brother,
no worries.
I appreciate
we'll get
the
you
love,
out
bro.
of here like always, man. And definitely, guys, check them out. If you guys haven't checked them out before, throwing up the YouTube one more time. If you guys could do the favor, just click it, hit the subscribe, check him out whenever you get a chance. He says there's a lot of videos also on strategy. You guys see him talking from futures to stocks. Definitely check it out, guys. A lot to take a look at, and he's always up early streaming, guys. So if you guys are looking for a stream nice and early, my man's out there on the bright early mornings, guys, getting after it, talking about economic data. So I know a lot of times I start my show right 8:30, right? It's a little bit hard to talk about economic data that just hit. So if you guys want to, of course, go over to John, go check him out, guys. And I always tell you guys, find traders that you guys can learn from, personalities that you guys can build your skills from, and maybe find a habit that you can make an improvement from. It's always good to see you, my friend. I always love talking to you. And it just seems to me, like always, man, we're just continuing to grow and continuing to learn different ways to get after it. We'll see what happens today, man. Q's now starting to head down as that 5-minute chart held pretty well. I'm taking a big bet. But that's what you do in trading, right?
Sure.
Hey, bets,
do your thing.
Man.
Hey, I hope you make some money, brother. Mitch is the only friend that I can message at 5 a.m. in the morning my time, and he's gonna respond back to me at 5 a.m. So the market watchers like him and I, like, we're up early, So he's the only guy I can message.
Always.
Yeah. So I
always,
appreciate
my
it, brother.
friend. It's good to see you, my friend. We'll definitely bring you back on.
Thanks so much.
Have a good one. Take care, John.
Well. Hey, good luck, guys. Thanks so much.
Tell the wife and the kids I send my love out there, man.
You as well, brother. You as well, man. Yeah. Hey, Rosie and Bruce are doing great, bro. I appreciate it. I'll see you later,
John.
brother.
Have a good one, man.
Thanks, man.
All right, guys. Like always, check them out if you guys haven't done so before. Beginner Trading. Had a great conversation there. Let's get back to the market here, guys. It's at the point in time where I'm looking to see my trade go into the green or cut it. Because it's either going to break down now the Qs and go through that 475, or we can get reversals back up through 477. So at this point, it's either make it or break it, right? I can get out of the trade if I need to, take a small hit, but this gives me potential to make close to $1,000 today. So I'm giving myself the shot here. There's no guarantees on both sides, but all you can do is just take the trade, right? So we'll see what happens now. Would really like to see this 15-minute candle close below the 475.40 area. Let's go to the 5-minute and just take a look at it. It'd be about 3 of those candles that are in the red right now. 1 candle green trying to come back. So you just got to be careful here, guys. I did have a moment there where I was close back to break even. So I'm watching it right now to see if I can get back above the 21 spot. 20s is a big vital spot here. And I'm watching Microsoft as a big indicator, right? Because this was up big this morning, right? So I'm looking to see if it gives up some of the gains and starts working its way back, right? So let's say breaking the support here, 437, going back towards like 434s. That could be some of the action that we could see the leak. Apple's been trying to make the move up above the hourly high that I've talked about, but still has yet to do it. So rejection back through the 215s could be some more red side continuation. Nvidia still struggling a little bit there. So just keeping a really close eye on these tech names to see what happens. And a big part of this is going to be using a little bit of a bigger time frames. Be careful out there. 15 minutes almost going back to green candle as it just made a hard attempt to the support. That's why John mentioned, and you guys heard it from him, about trading the range. What if you traded the range already? You could have traded the range 2-3 times there and made money. There's plenty of different ways to make money, team. Make sure that you guys are looking into different ways to get after the market. All right, guys, definitely getting the pressure now down as I get the cues to come right back up here. And I just got to hang out here to see what happens in the cues, right? That's going to determine my day. It could be red, it could be green, and that's what you got to do sometimes, right? We'll see what happens now. Just got a hard down attempt here, and now it's starting to climb. Watching the 5 minutes to see if we don't crack towards the 477s, because that could be a kind of a blow off. And then it starts to just grind higher. XRT is another thing to kind of keep a watch on. If you're looking for trades out there, we got retail numbers, and all these stocks are moving off that retail number. Ulta, pretty strong there. Signet, pretty strong. GME, even strong today, guys. Dollar Tree, Dollar General. Keep your eyes on those names. They're pretty strong right now. We'll see if they continue in the green. But Bath and Body Works, get those candles out. I hope you're getting it, Jane. Hope you're lighting that candle up today. But hey, just getting after it, guys. I hope you guys are having a good day and enjoying the conversation out there. We had a good time there, and we're going to take a look to see what happens here in the stock trading action. We'll keep watch, guys. There's Vixie putting me in a little bit of some trouble here, guys, as I'm starting to get that down pressure, and I'm going to push it, guys. So we'll see what happens here. Definitely taking a look at the action on the hourly. We're at the hourly support right now. So after this, if it starts to drop there, I'm going to get cut out there at kind of the 1210s. That's the most pain that I can take there. That's 430 there. So we'll see what happens. Definitely want to take a look to see what happens in this range on the 5 minute as we're trading within the range here. I need to see what happens on the cues, right? Because a move back up through this level, and yeah, you're starting to rise and continuing to push. The SPY did pull back, but bounce off the VWAP also, showing strength in different areas today. So of course, that's not just tech names. Take a look at the SPY to see what's leading today. You see Airbnb in there. You see Enphase. You're seeing some solar names doing well. So I talked about leisure and how that could make an up move. You're seeing UAL make an up move. Pakar, guys, was on the playbook. Missed this one today, guys. This should have been a play by me, guys. I will tell you guys that right now. I was focused on the Vixie. It was on the playbook just this morning, guys. Look at the liftoff in Pakar right before the action. And this tells me take a look at Deere to maybe get to 400 today. As yes, I'm off on this one, but XLI could keep going here, guys. Pakar leading the action today in industrials. And who put it out there? Your boy Money Mitch. But I gotta say, I gotta pay attention to my playbook plays because this one was a really good trade. I hope somebody was able to nail that Pakar as is on the playbook just this morning. All right, guys, Q's still in the battle here, guys. So we'll see what happens. It's 10:42, and this is going to determine it right now, at least for me, guys. So we'll see what happens here in the 5 minute candles to see where this Q's end up. I got to hang on for right now and play without throughout this range, right? Above that range, yeah, I'm looking to get out. But back below with this, though, if I take out the 474.50s, it could be $1,000 day. And so what I got to think about, What's the risk to return here? And just keep going about it. As I keep trying to scale up this week, I'm going to run into some walls. So we're going to have to learn a little bit too. It's not going to just be perfect as you scale up. You're always going to fight a little bit. Today, not doing too bad. I think what it was on this one was a little bit of a overconfidence on the first downside action move there on the Qs. That was this move here. And then I added at like 1225s. I've been adding in between there at 1218s, 1220s. Should have been closer towards this 1210 here, back towards the 1215s and 1210s to try to get myself closer back towards the average here. This is the moment. Make it or break it here. The Qs could take the move here, and I could get stopped out really quickly here in the Vixie. I don't have the stop place because I would have already got targeted here, but just taking a look at the Vixie here and the Qs to see what happens. Do we reject this move back through the 476.75, or do we make the move back down? So you can see the 15-minute candle and how this is going to close in just about a minute here. So I'm going to watch it on the 15-minute candle to see what happens. Did we get an attempt move back down towards this, or do we get a breakout above towards 477? And if we do get that breakout to the 477s, Tesla is going to be looking great off that 231.90. So we'll see what happens today, guys. Definitely taking a little bit of a bigger swing. Microsoft starting to bounce, not a good sign for me. Just looking around to see what happens there. You can see how Microsoft is now bouncing pretty strong there. Apple's bouncing pretty strong there. Could break out through the top end of the range here. We'll see what happens here. Definitely taking my shot. Q's right on the spot to break out here. So got to be careful here as we're going to get that attempted move here. And it could be a wick. So I'm just keeping it on the 15-minute because I want to see what the next candle open is. And that's going to happen in just about, what? 10 seconds here. So just got to pay attention here. Could be getting out at any moment here. Might lose 500 today, guys. Definitely going to be a little bit more than what I'm used to. But of course, I'm stepping up here. So with that being said, you're going to get opportunities like this where you have to learn how to adjust here. Definitely pushing it on the stop loss. Right now, it's at 1206, looking to see if the Qs make a move off of this 477.30s, but it's looking like a breakout to the up end. Now we're getting a little bit of some retracement, but it's not much. In a second, I'm just going to drop this and set it as a stop and just let it go here, guys. But definitely seeing some up action there. The Apple pushing there, NVIDIA pushing strong, Microsoft pushing back. It's not looking good here for me, guys. About to just let it go and get out of the Vixie. Take a hit today, call it a wrap. It's okay. Only thing we can do is take shots, right? We'll see what happens here on the Qs right now. Do we get the quick little downside hit here? Still on, still on. Just looking around to see right now, you're seeing the NVIDIA kind of jumping, but it's not through the top end, and neither is Apple. So I'm looking to see if we reject right quick. It's trying to find some buyers on the pullback right now. Tesla's still not making that big jump. I thought Tesla would get a quick jump. 477s, 40s was around that level. Let's see if they take the 477 40s now. You just get that attempt right there. 477 38s rejection. Let's see what if 477 50 shows up. Yeah, that's the sign. It's top and about to take that next push. Tesla trying to push through the high now. Starts to slow up there. Now it's really taking a hit there, guys. You got to go ahead and start to get out here as we just get that nice attempt there. So I'm just going to set it on the low right now. It's about 670s on the loss here, guys. So definitely pushing it, but I just set the stop there right now. It's actually in play. You guys know I try to keep it 100 with you guys. And today I'm pushing it, guys, but that's what I got to do. I'm getting to the point where if I'm going to make it in this eval, I got to go ahead and start stepping up in size, taking an attempt today. We'll see what happens here on this. And you guys see it right there. So it could get stop hunted, and I have it out there right now. We're starting to see a little bit of a turnaround from that. So I'm going to be careful here and just cancel for just a second, but ready to let it go. And this is what I mean by holding it here. So I'm holding it here, looking to see if the Qs get back underneath that white line. If it doesn't, and it starts to go back towards the top end of the range, I just got to get out here. So definitely, this is a little bit of a shake move, right? And so looking to see if they shake me and gets it back there. Now it's starting to come back here. So I need to take a look at what? I need to take a look at some other names like Microsoft, Nvidia, Tesla. Tesla still didn't rip up, yet it's the strongest one. Was expecting to see that kind of take a big rip there. But seeing a little bit of a slowdown in the market now. Now I'm seeing it. I can still stop out at like 1205s. Just want to see the action here to see if we go right back up towards the high end of the 477.30s here in the Qs. If that does happen, then I just got to get out. So the Q's just chopping around right now. Still on the top end breakout stage though. So if you're trading to the upside, you're just waiting to see the continuation of the momentum come in here. Still seeing that slowdown rejection there. Back towards the 1210s here. No stop place right now, just kind of watching the action off of this, looking at the Qs right now, and you guys see it to the left-hand side, rejecting there on the 15-minute. I'm going to go to the 1 minute here, then go back to the chart here. Trying to see if we come back to the 9 EMA or if we're going for another break attempt. Definitely did a nice little push there. You can see the RSI went up. That's actually looking strong right there. Downside coming in really quickly here, back towards the 206 here. So about to just let it go. Get out. Apple trying to make the up move there. It's definitely still not making a huge rip up. And that's one thing that I'm noticing. I see it in Tesla that there's not a big rip there. And it's a little bit on both sides right now. Because you could have seen that big rip in Microsoft and Nvidia, Apple to the upside. The SPY just went up there and just kind of held. Are we now going to get a washout to the downside? It's just crazy, man. The mixed noise right now in the market. And it just goes to show you the uncertainty. There's no certainty. Rejection in Nvidia. Going to see if this candle goes red on the 15-minute candle. Red on the 15-minute candle there. Now red on Microsoft 5-minute candle. Pulling back here fast now, guys. So just got to pull back there towards the 477 on the 9 EMA. Let's see if the buyers step up here, or does it keep coming back down towards the VWAP? Back towards the VWAP, and we're still in this game. Letting go, not putting a stop. I'm back towards 212s. I'm starting to see the downside come in there. I'm looking at the 5-minute and looking to see if we can cut back through 476.75 towards 476. You guys see it there right in front of you guys. And this is definitely opening up more risk than I normally do, but there's only one way. And that's to step it up. Tesla might go lower. Okay, Vic. Well, you're seeing it out there. eBay now looks more to the upside than a short trade. I know you said you wanted that short, but the daily chart and price action is telling me different. Are you still swing short until the break of 65? Yeah, let's go take a look. Let's go take a look at that, right? Need to go focus on that, but this is the more important trade at the moment. I will take a look. I'll take a quick peek. Let's take a quick peek, guys. It's hard, right? Because I'm seeing the downside action come in there, but at least it's to the downside. So I'll go take a quick peek. Let's go. eBay right now, I'm down a little bit there. I did take my Boeing money and ran. I'm still down on eBay right now. Let's take a look at the action. That 64.81 is going to look to see if the hourly highs can hold. This could just be a blow off top. 64.98. So I'm going to do it just above that 65. Let's go set it there. Just trying to set it up here on eBay. All right, going to set a $254 risk there towards 65.25. So giving myself another, 40 cents to the upside. If it comes and gets me, it comes and gets me. That's a new daily high, and it's an approach back down. The idea here is that it comes back down below this high, 64.50s. If it's back below that, this candle can turn on the open to a red candle. I want to see this turn to a red candle on the daily. And yes, I'm going at it a little bit early in the action on the daily, right? It could still come back to 88s, and eBay could still go to the upside. I'm looking for a little bit of a bigger kind of move back towards 62 and 61, which is a bigger outlook. But right now, it is still strong. I will say that. We'll see if it turns and goes back below the open. All right, got to get back to it, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Whew. This is a hard one to stay into today, guys. It's a battle today, guys. And it's hard whenever I size up to this level because I'm not used to seeing these losses, right? And that's where it gets hard, right? I'm definitely stepping it up. I've stepped it up even more today. And yes, it's going to be a push, right? When you step it up, you're going to lose more and make more, right? So that's the one thing you got to adjust to and just try to stick to what got you here in the first place, right? That's what's going to get us through this. All right, guys, have a good one. Best wishes. Catch up soon. Hey, have a good one, Wisdom. Take care, my friend. CORZ makes new highs, is he? What are you guys taking a look at in the penny stock game? This GLMD, what the heck happened there, man? That thing's been an absolute rocket since the open, guys. I'm sorry I missed this one. It didn't look strong, and it's just been absolutely grinding higher. I don't know why this thing is grinding on such a move, but boy, oh boy, is it a breakout there. GLMD. This looks to me like a swing short or a short eventually, but that's not right now. The daily chart, I don't like to short on day one. I wait for this to kind of slow down and then look for a short, but this thing's absolutely rocketing. GLMD in the penny game if you're looking for one. What a trade there, guys. Qs overall back down below towards that level that I needed to see it. So that's actually not bad, but it can bounce off this 476.75. So I'm not out of the woods and just got to continue to watch the action. It is 10:55, guys, so I'm going to start to wrap it up here. We'll see what happens in the Qs. Will it make a down move through the 476? And I'm able to battle back in the Vixie. Yesterday, I still made a nice $300 gain when I was up at $600 at one point. I was looking for $900, maybe a little bit too picky yesterday. We'll see what happens today. What it turns out. The truth is, the market will tell me. It does the lifting for me. I just try to work hard to find an entry. I'm going to keep getting after it, guys. We didn't get too much into the Fibonacci retracements, so I'm going to actually probably look to do that topic another time. Again, as today we talked a lot with beginner trading. I hope you guys enjoyed that action, and we're going to keep pushing, guys. We'll see what happens in the Qs today. Now down to the 476.60s. It's on the 9 EMA, something to look at. We'll see if it gets to bounce and comes down, or will we get the up action in the market? Vixie's back towards 1215s. Closer towards my entry here. So at some point I could downsize and then size back into it. We'll see what happens here, guys. Going to go manage the position, manage the action out there. And like always, stay safe. That's the important thing, traders. Don't forget, we have to trade tomorrow. And that's the important thing too. Keeping yourself in reach. I talk about it all the time. Be the survivor first, then worry about what happens, right? So, hey, my best wishes to you guys. Pinkies up and stay tuned because tomorrow will be the fireworks. And of course, don't forget the FOMC meeting has a conference that starts at 2:30 tomorrow p.m. Eastern, but the press release is put out at 2 p.m. So you want to catch that press release and then you want to catch the conference. Smash the like, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the action. We'll keep pushing out there, guys, and be safe out there, traders. Today, definitely choppy markets, and I feel like it could continue to chop. We'll see what happens out there and what we're able to come up with. We'll see if eBay ends into the green, or will the Vixie take me out today? Only one way to find out. come back tomorrow and hit that like button. I hope you guys enjoy it. Are you coming on at 2:30 tomorrow? I don't think so, Vic, but I'll let you guys know if I'm able to somehow get towards that action. To tell you the truth, I don't really like to trade that event because it's very, very hard, and you get these fake like wicks where it wicks down and it's right back up. It just seems to me like a big danger area. But what I like to do is let it decipher and tell me which way it wants to go. And then the following day, look to see what happens then. I will give you guys the insight that on the last cuts, historically, the first 5 days are red majority of the times. So I'll probably be looking to see if we get some down reaction. That's just the historical numbers. We'll wait and find out. Like always, catch the playbook on our Twitter. Catch it every morning. We had a great trade on there this morning, guys. And that, of course, was Picard. So we'll see what happens in the market. Definitely still seeing a little bit of some pullback action. Look, guys, somehow the Vixie's back, guys. So we'll see what happens, guys. I'm only down up. Now I'm in the green. We'll wait and find out, traders, to see what happens. There's only one way. Smash those likes. Hit the subscribe. We're going to keep getting after it, team. I hope that you guys enjoyed the action today. Look at the downside move there in the Qs. Vixie taking off, guys. Vixie taking off. I'm in the green right now, guys. We'll find out what happens. What can Money Mitch do? Only one way. Stick around, guys. Find out. I hope you guys enjoyed the action. Of course, right here on Trade the Pool, guys. Be safe out there, guys. Nice quick move there in the Qs. Can it take the lows? Can Microsoft take the lows? Will Tesla break the VWAP? Find out, traders. There's a whole lot of action out there, and be safe. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. I'll see you guys back tomorrow morning. Keep battling out there in the market. It's not easy. That's one thing's for certain.